was that bad performance against Buffalo, Logan, and a 28-21 loss. So I really am heading into this game based off of still who I think the better football team is when they're at their best, and I expect the Chiefs' best out of the bye week.
Yeah, I'm sitting somewhere between a 6 and a 7 because I agree with you. I think the Chiefs are the better football team. I think that having the bye, even from a game planning standpoint, is important, but even more so just an added week to let guys get healthy. I mean, there have been so many injury issues along the offensive line the last couple of weeks, plus you got Josh Simmons back in the fold. I think all of that is important. I'm not quite at the level that you are at an 8 because we've seen in close games this year, and I anticipate this being another close game, these are two very different football teams. The Denver Broncos have been able to take advantage in close games late in the third quarter and into the fourth quarter. And the Chiefs, it really feels like these two teams have flipped. The Denver Broncos last year were one of the worst fourth quarter teams in football, and it kind of stymied their chances of success. Meanwhile, the Chiefs were historically the best team in one-score games in NFL history.
Right.
And now it's the complete polar opposite. The Chiefs, when it comes time for those close games, haven't been able to close the door or open the door for themselves. The Broncos have been incredibly efficient at that so far this year.
We're going to ask Nick Ferguson this here in 25 minutes, but I get the sense talking to two people on their shows yesterday in Denver that the stuff we're saying about Bo Nix and the Broncos, like half of Broncos country is feeling the same way. Like this is not one of those like where Chiefs fans are like trying to cope through it and Broncos fans are like, no, you're just being haters. There are plenty of Broncos fans that are very skeptical still about their offense and about Bo Nix. And you know, I think for Kansas City, the reason why, if you're wondering why is on a scale of 1 to 10, my confidence at 8 going into this game, there's the bye week factor, the self-scouting factor, but also, you know, if we all are considering this one of the biggest games in the last 5 to 7 years in the regular season, in the Mahomes era, considering what's at stake, these are usually games that we talk about postseason-wise, where Andy's at his best, Mahomes at his best, Travis Kelce's at his best. I think that same kind of thing is happening or will happen on Sunday, because I think while from the outside, and Andy once again will talk at 1 o'clock, and we'll briefly carry that. Thank you, Dusty, for walking in randomly. He said, go Chiefs. You're right, go Chiefs. 4 hours wasn't enough earlier. But basically, I think, you know, that's the mindset that they have, even if publicly Andy's going to say, you know, that's no different than any other week kind of thing. They're all well aware where they're at. You mentioned the fourth quarter stuff, and I do think that is interesting. Look, it goes without saying, you, of course, want to be leading the game heading in the fourth, versus trailing. But I do think, given what the Broncos have done this year, it maybe is more important than even when you faced Buffalo while you lost the game, or earlier in the year, Detroit or whoever, that you have a fourth quarter lead if you're Kansas City going in. Because here's why. The Broncos have the highest point differential in the fourth quarter. They're plus 60. A lot of that is the comeback against the Giants.
Right.
Yardage, if you care about that, they have more than 400 yards more than their opponent. And sack differential. We know, you've mentioned this all week, the gap between the Broncos as the best sack team and the next is what, 12, 16?
14.
14, yeah. Right in the middle, of course, figures. 10 in the fourth quarter is their sack differential. And the Broncos are 4-0 in those games in which they trailed in the fourth quarter. So their best football is the fourth quarter. I feel like if you're Kansas City, you cannot be trailing going into the fourth.
No, not with those sack numbers you mentioned, because if you're down in the fourth quarter, that typically shows an opposing defense, we're going to drop back and we're going to throw the football, especially if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, because the running game has been, let's call it, stagnant at best throughout the course of the year. Doesn't sound like, Pacheco's chances are great to play on Sunday. So I think that a fourth quarter lead is massive in terms of what the playbook looks like. When you're up by 7 points or 10 points going into the fourth quarter of a game, you are more than comfortable doing whatever you'd like on offense. If you're down by 7 or 10 points, okay, you have to put the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands, and that allows for the defensive line to pin their ears back instead of on a second and long or a third and long play, first down, second down, third down, throughout the course of a drive, throughout the course of an entire quarter, where they don't have to worry about rush lanes or things of that nature, right? It's about getting to the quarterback, keeping Mahomes contained within the pocket, and generating pass rush, generating quarterback hits and pressures and sacks. And I think that's maybe the biggest factor in why a great start through the first 3 quarters is going to be a major key, because it doesn't allow you to become one-dimensional by using the passing game to try to get back into a football game. You can continue to use your passing attack, but more so you can infuse your running game into it as a way to utilize clock management.
913-586-7965. We'll ask you, I see some texts coming in where you guys are at. A lot of you say an 8 or 9. Someone said 9.5. Someone went ahead and said they're 7.5 or so right now on the confidence scale. Of course, a lot of 6-7s coming in, as I expected.
I didn't think about that.
On the text line. But what's the biggest concern? Because I think on one hand, you can say, hey, the Chiefs have shown they cannot get after a quarterback. On the other hand, you say what you were just discussing, which is, that the Broncos are going to get after you. And I think it is still more about the Chiefs O-line holding up than it is this Chiefs defensive line or Steve Spagnuolo coming up with some grand plan to get after Bo Nix. I'm just plain and simple. I'm not impressed by Bo Nix. So to me, yeah, I would like to get after him, but I don't think Bo Nix is going to just carve you up the way some other quarterbacks will if you don't get pressure and you allow him to have time in the pocket. Whereas if the Broncos make life hell for Jawan Taylor and Josh Simmons, if it's him or Jalen Moore, we don't know. We still don't know who's going to be the left tackle on Sunday. We may not know later on today. We have to wait till Sunday. But if the Chiefs cannot protect Patrick Mahomes, we all know what happens. It's the backyard football stuff, which, when it's one-offs, that's fine. It's fun. Those are the highlight stuff. When it is just for survival, that's when it is obviously a mess for this football team, and they're not winning that game. And so that's my biggest concern. I think it's probably most people's concern. Protecting Patrick Mahomes, allowing the offense to operate. As much as we don't like seeing them not get pressure on the quarterback, and it's frustrating to watch, you to me, in this game, you can get by still, even if Bo Nix has some time. You cannot win this game if Nick Bonito and Zach Allen and that entire defensive front are getting after Patrick Mahomes consistently.
No question about it, because you look at the way that Mahomes played in that Buffalo Bills game 2 weeks ago. I think that it's fair to say it was probably his worst start of the year. And a lot of that was because of the pressure that was going at him. I think of over 50% of his dropbacks, he was pressured, hit, or sacked. And so you look at the flip side for Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, they actually have arguably the best offensive line unit in the NFL so far this year. Bo Nix has only been sacked twice in the last 2 games, against Vegas and against Houston. Despite that, the guy's barely completing 50% of his passes. He's thrown 3 touchdowns and 3 picks. So we've seen Bo Nix, even with a clean pocket, even with little to no pressure in his face, make mistakes. And this Chiefs secondary is as good a unit as there is in the National Football League. I would say it's a better unit than the Las Vegas Raiders have, and he still threw 2 picks last week against the Raiders. So I completely agree with you. Pressure against Mahomes versus pressure against Bo Nix is so much more of a net positive for the Broncos than it would be for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Coming up in 20 minutes, we'll head out to Denver. Nick Ferguson, former Denver Broncos safety, does radio over on KOA. 94.1 FM and 8:50 AM. We'll get the Broncos' perspective on that. Also, Josh Brisco at 11 o'clock. So those are just an early check-in on confidence. And it's funny, when we've done these, anytime there's a big game, and by the time we get to the 1 o'clock hour, sometimes the texts change drastically. Not only different people listening, but I think as you get closer to kickoff, people get more nervous. Sunday morning, all of a sudden, people get a little more nervous depending on where things are at. But the text line, I would say it's a mixed bag right now. A lot of people mentioning a topic we discussed yesterday, which is, run the ball under center. We did a whole thing on that and where the Chiefs stack up. And the 5 teams that go under center the most in the NFL are all considered Super Bowl contenders, and the Chiefs are in the bottom 5. But this is, I said it on my betting show, 2 nights ago, I guess it's been at this point. I do think it's the biggest game, not only of the season, but you can make a case that this is the biggest game since the Chiefs have been in the middle of this dynasty. And that is not that they haven't had a game in which they've needed it to clinch a division. Not that they haven't had a game to win, in December to keep the Chargers at bay. We all remember, I think it was 2021, late December, Kelsey walk-off, overtime touchdown and all that. That's the last time it felt like there was a regular season divisional game that had this kind of juice. But at the same time, that as bad as that was, they weren't in danger of missing the playoffs with a loss. That game, I went back and looked. That game, the Chiefs with the win got to 10-4. So they were a 9-4 team. They would have lost that game. They would have been 9-5. The playoffs would not be in jeopardy.
Yeah.
This game is the biggest game because not only does it keep you alive with a win in the division, but if you lose, you are 5-5 with the Colts coming to town next week. And there has to be on Monday and Tuesday of next week, real conversation about, hey, what's it look like for them to just make sure they get in the dance? The talk of making the postseason becomes real. They win, it's a completely different feeling. But that's why I think this is the biggest. They have not had games where we're talking about making or missing the playoffs potentially, let alone having a 9+ year run in the division come to an end.
Oh, yes, without question. This is the biggest game that the Chiefs have had since Patrick Mahomes became the quarterback in terms of regular season goals and your ability to make the postseason. I mean, you're exactly right. A loss on Sunday puts you at 5-5. If you believe that 10 wins is going to be enough to make the postseason in the AFC, that means you have to win 5 of your last 7 games. That includes another matchup against the Chargers. That includes another matchup against the Broncos. So I look at this from the perspective of, yeah, the division, but that's more of a back burner discussion in my view, because you're still going to need help. Even if you beat the Broncos Sunday, you're still going to need help to win the division.
If the Chiefs win this game on Sunday, do you think they're winning the division, though? Because I have the feeling it's one of those games where I know it mathematically it doesn't guarantee them.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if they go on the road to Denver post-bye and look great and get a win, I don't know about you, I think they end up winning this division. It's one of those where it just tells me a lot about this football team.
Yeah, if it's a big time statement sort of win, the Chiefs come out and win this game 31-17 or 34-17, and they really wreaked havoc on Bo Nix and made this defense look pedestrian. The level of confidence that it will not only give Chiefs fans, but this team and in this locker room could certainly add to that. I would say if this is an ugly win, the Chiefs come out and they win a 21-18 slugfest that involves 6 made field goals in the game or whatever, then maybe not so much. I would say, in terms of a percentage, if the Chiefs win this game in dominant fashion, they control it for 60 minutes, I would lean 65-35. The Chiefs win the division.
Okay.
If it's ugly, it probably sits at right around 55-45.
So right now, just the odds, as it currently sits, the Chiefs are plus 155 to win the division, the Broncos plus 125. If this is from Warren Sharp, if Kansas City beats Denver in their simulations in this week on Sunday, the Chiefs would go to a 51% chance to win the AFC West. Denver would drop to a 37% chance. They, of course, have the return meeting in Kansas City. The Chargers would be sitting at 11. If Kansas City loses, you're probably not surprised by the numbers I'm about to tell you, Denver goes to an 82% chance to win the West. The Chiefs fall to 9%. The Chargers go down as well. They go to 9%. Because to me, it's fairly simple. If the Broncos win, not only are the Chiefs done in the division, to me, the Broncos are winning this division. I don't think the Chargers are not that good of a football team. The injuries have caught up to them. If the Chiefs win, I think the Chiefs should have, and they would have better odds than the LA Chargers, and I would think they should have better odds than the Broncos. The Chiefs would have 6 wins. The Broncos would have 8. The Broncos still have a bye week, I believe, coming up as well, if I'm not mistaken. After this game. So then the Chiefs, let's say, beat the Colts. All of a sudden, you're right there with the return trip coming to Kansas City. So it is just such a massive swing for the entire season. Narratives are one thing, but truly for the math on making the playoffs, on winning this division, keeping this 9+ year run in the West going. And I don't know about you, ultimately we're talking about this year, but if you want to continue to have these bigger picture conversations about comparing the Chiefs dynasty, the Patriots dynasty, Mahomes and Brady and all that, part of that is the 12+ year run the Patriots went on in the East. Yeah. And that all ends on Sunday if you don't win. I don't know about you. I want to be able to keep talking about that. I want to see if the Chiefs can push that. And it would end on Sunday if they don't get the win.
Completely agree. And you talked about it at the outset, biggest game since when. I would say it's bigger than, but the only game I could really compare it to is that Week 10 matchup in 2021 against the Raiders.
Okay.
At the time, Vegas was coming into that game 5-3. They were the leaders in the clubhouse in the division. The Chiefs were 5-4. So I think that it doesn't quite have the same moniker around it, but if the Chiefs would have lost that game, they'd have fallen to 5-5. The Raiders would have risen to 6-3, and you would have been playing a lot of catch up. They ended up winning that game in blowout fashion, 41-14. That was the year that they outscored the Raiders like 100-25 over those two games. But I think that's really the only game that I look at middle to later portion of the year where a loss really sets you back in terms of the division race. It wasn't an end-all be-all thing. I think the Chiefs still would have made the playoffs, and without question. But I think that it's really hard to find one because I don't think there is an accurate comparison in Mahomes' tenure.
That game you bring up, the one I mentioned in 2021, the Chiefs-Chargers late season game, the overtime walk-off and all that for the Chiefs, those are also two examples where, once again, those teams had a chance to completely change the narrative to prove that, they're in control. And here we are again. It's another opportunity. And, if you're waiting to find out, is this year any different? This is also a game for that. That's why it's just so massive in the swing, because if the Broncos lose, it's the bigger picture stuff again. It's like, yet again, nope, the Chiefs are not dead. This division is still theirs, in my opinion. All of that is there versus the reason why I'm calling it a validation game for the Broncos. If they win, we have to start looking at Denver a whole lot differently this year and even beyond this year, and especially if Bo Nix were to play great in the game. And we would have to start discussing, like, hey, this is the end of the run in the AFC West and all that. And there have been multiple times, probably 2 or 3 instances, we decided 2 of them, where that was an opportunity either the Chargers had, the Raiders had, and this is the first time the Broncos have really had it, because the Chiefs have, other than Week 18 last year, essentially have just dominated them for a decade.
Which Broncos fans have somehow taken to social media to really, really hype up. Like, remember the last time the Broncos played the Chiefs, really?
I think that's more of a troll thing. I hope they're not that serious, but I'm guessing that's just more of a troll thing. But I'm just saying there's been these type of moments, and none of the other times were these teams able to cement it and kick the king, knock the king down. Same opportunity on Sunday, and I think they're going to whiff again. I do. We'll give our official game predictions a little bit later on in the 1 o'clock hour today. We'll also take your predictions, some of your best bets, and everything like that. But coming up in 10 minutes, we will go out to Denver and check in with Nick Ferguson. Thinking of bets, I saw the NFL yesterday with all the betting scandals that are out there. The NFL sent out a memo to teams. Tom Pelissero put out the screenshot of the memo saying, in light of the recent gambling scandals, the league has worked with lawmakers, regulators, and sports betting partners in recent weeks to limit and, where possible, prohibit prop bets in the NFL. You guys remember on Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday, Major League Baseball came out and said they were working with their partners to have a $200 limit on those micro bets, right? The strike ball type bets, the velocity type of bets. And so in this memo, it mentions some things that, I'll be honest, are already not legal to bet. And then there's some things that make sense. So, for example, they are going to prohibit wager categories determinable by one person in one play. Right, makes sense. So a kicker to miss a field goal attempt. Now that is a bet that you have been able to make. Like, over under certain field goals, make or miss field goal, that exists. Now some of these other ones, I don't know what they're talking about, because unless you're betting offshore, you can never bet these. There's a couple talking about wagers on injury related markets, player injuries, fan safety, misconduct, officiating assignments, replay. You've never been able to make a bet like, will there be a challenge used in this game? Not in a legal market, maybe
right.
Offshore. So I thought that was interesting, but these, it's a weird balance. The NFL, I think so much of this is optics, the same reason why baseball had to do it. There's not much you can do to truly flat out prevent if somebody wants to make a wager on an under for a player on a make or miss field goal in this case. You can go to your offshore accounts to do that. But what's weird is the NFL, who is talking so much about the integrity of the sport and getting things right and all that, yet they know they have a massive officiating problem, and yet there's not much that has been done with that.
No, not at all. And you're exactly right. It is entirely about optics. It's about public perception with, hey, we can't really do anything about this right now, but, at least we're covering our bases, right? Where if some big scandal hits and they're like, what was the NFL doing? Why didn't the NFL do anything to stop this? Well, Roger Goodell and those at the head of the NFL can say, well, these are the things that we did. We said that these things were illegal and these couldn't be done. And we sent out these memos and we talked with players and coaches and officials and we did all these things. And even that couldn't prevent it. Yeah, it's just completely and utterly a way for them to save face. And not that that's a bad thing, right? I mean, they are trying to do something. And if this memo even gets one person to think twice before doing something foolish, then it served its purpose. Is it going to have an overreaching effect? Not even a little bit.
Yeah, it is more just reinforcing stuff. Because again, it mentions that predetermined outcomes are prohibited directly related to on-field competition. Will quarterback blank start this week? Will team's first play from scrimmage be a run or pass? So will quarterback start or not has never been a bet you can make in a legal betting market. Now, the micro bet exists. You could, I don't know, maybe it'll be different this weekend. It sounds like it will. You could always make a bet on a live, will this next play be an incomplete pass or not? And that's maybe the markets where they want to limit. I think the solution for a lot of this is just limiting the dollar amount on the bet. Not so much even getting rid of the bet. While they can be manipulated, but it's the dollar amount that's gotten all this in trouble. I mean, if you were only able to bet, they're doing a $200 limit, so I'll just keep, and baseball is for some of their prop bets, so I'll say that for football. If it was only a $200 limit, then a lot of this stuff we're talking about probably wouldn't be happening. The FBI wouldn't be involved if we're talking about $100 or $200 versus, hundreds of thousands of dollars or $20,000 at a time kind of stuff. Some of those bets not having any limits were part of the issue, I think.
No question. I mean, you think about the biggest scandals in sports betting in history, it's been these massive dollar amounts where an individual or a group of individuals got in contact with a player or a coach, and these massive dollar amounts were what ultimately convinced these players to do these things. The Black Sox scandal 100 plus years ago, and the what was it, Javante? I cannot, the Porter kid. Jonte Porter. Thank you. So I think that with those massive dollar amounts being limited, it definitely, I would say, lessens the scope towards players being contacted by outside sources and these some would say shady characters that can dupe these individuals into doing things like this because they're not being able to be like, hey, I'm going to go to this NFL quarterback and say, hey, can you throw an incomplete pass on this play? And, I'll put $1 million on it and you'll get half. That doesn't really hit the same when that same individual goes to a quarterback and says, hey, if you throw this incomplete pass, I can put $200 on it and I'll give you $80. Doesn't really work.
You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. This Sunday, stream the Chiefs at the Broncos live at 3:25. Then stay for the premiere of the new season of the hit original series Landman, all on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Up next, we go out to Denver. Nick Ferguson, former Denver Broncos safety, going to join us to give the Broncos perspective on what they have to do to end perhaps the Chiefs' run in the AFC West.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
This holiday season, Target has your back with irresistibly cool gifts for everyone on your list. For the trendsetter, start with affordable beauty kits and gift sets. Need something the whole fam will love? Grab snuggly matching fits in every size and style. And for the thrill seekers, don't forget the hottest toys and tech of the season. Target's got you covered with the best deals for endless fun. Shop in store or online. And step into the holidays with Target. Restrictions apply.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Oh, hey, welcome to gift wrapping. Whoa, Zoe Saldana.
Hey, can you wrap these, please?
Wow, iPhone 17s. You splurged.
At T-Mobile, you can get 4 iPhone 17s on them. It's the perfect gift for everyone.
I'm the worst. I only got my mom a robe.
Well, it's better than socks.
So I have to trade in my old phone, right?
No, at T-Mobile, there's no trade-ins needed when you switch. Keep your old phone or give it as a gift.
Incredible.
In fact, wrap up my old phone too. For my Aunt Rosa. Forget that. Aunt Liz will be jealous.
Sounds like my family. Drama.
Oh, I got it. I'll give it to my abuela. I'll take reindeer paper with, hey, where are you going?
To T-Mobile. Thanks, Zoe. The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Get 4 iPhone 17s on us. No trade-in needed when you switch. Plus 4 lines for just $25 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 4 eligible port-ins on essentials for well-qualified customers. Auto-pay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 256 gigabytes, $830 required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
J. Rieger & Co. Oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City. J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
We're just getting started on a Red Friday in Kansas City. Beautiful weather in KC. The Chiefs getting set to head out to Denver. We're going to head out there in just a minute to be joined by our next guest. Professor Weber's coming up also. I can't wait for this because I don't know where we're going, what the lesson is today. With Professor Tapp out due to surgery. He'll be back next Wednesday. But Professor Weber, who's actually a substitute teacher in the area, so
that's correct.
He says he has a lesson. We will all learn that together. But let's keep talking Chiefs, Broncos. We welcome in Nick Ferguson, former Denver Broncos safety. You can hear him on the radio in Denver over on KOA 94.1 FM and 850 AM. Also does great content on his social media channels. Nick, good to have you back on the show, man. This is a little bit different feel than when we've had you on the last couple of years. I mean, this is it's what we've said. It's one of the biggest games in the Chiefs dynasty era and the Chiefs Mahomes era.
It's interesting because typically when we come on, it's always, okay, well, the Broncos are somewhat the underdog in this. And I know when you look around the league, everyone's giving the Chiefs a fighting chance. But this is kind of the first time that we've ever had this conversation. And the Chiefs find themselves on the precipice of not winning the AFC West. That's very interesting.
No doubt. It's presented a different way to kind of discuss this game. Now, what's the feeling in Denver? Because I think from our side, we look at the Broncos, and it's kind of one of those games where, like, all right, kind of prove it to me that you're ready to end this run, that Bo Nix is going to step up in a spot like this. Otherwise, if the Broncos lose, it's kind of, all right, same old story. At least that's how I view it.
Well, yeah, that is true, but the thing that kind of tips the scales in the Broncos' favor isn't the offense. I know everyone loves in this league to talk about the offense and offensive coordinator, but it's about the Broncos' defense. The Broncos are 8-2, not because of their offense, but in spite of their offense. And it's because of their defense. And I'll let you in on a little secret that I've been talking about this Broncos team. And, people love to give, defensive groups names. But I've coined the Broncos defense MacGyver. And the reason I call them MacGyver, if you remember the 90s show on CBS, MacGyver was just like Batman without a mask. But he had all these fancy toys like a paper clip and a piece of gum, and he could make a rocket launcher. And the biggest thing about MacGyver was he comes through when you need him the most, and that's exactly what Vance Joseph defense has done all season long. So the Broncos and his fan base, man, they are so excited about what they can do on Sunday against the Chiefs, but it's more or less about the defense opposed to the offense.
Nick, I kind of like that comparison, MacGyver, especially when it comes to that Broncos defensive line, because, they've got 5 guys on this team with at least 3.5 sacks and 9 with at least 2. It seems like this defense, Vance Joseph's unit, can come at you from anywhere. What makes this team so special when it comes to getting to the quarterback, regardless of seemingly who is out there at any time?
Well, he talked about it yesterday, and it's unselfish play. And I told him myself, I say, seldom do you see guys willing to sacrifice sacks, which is sacks are incentives, and that's money that you're taking out of your pocket to give to your buddies, but it's a lot of unselfish play, and they want to see their fellow defensive player celebrate and have success. And I know that's what we think all players want to do, and I'm telling you as a former player, no, it's not. So to see the defense playing in this way where they want to root for the guy next to him, truly mean that is why that we're seeing the defense play the way that they're playing. And also with the additions of Talanoa Hufanga coming over from San Francisco. That guy is by far one of the better safeties that the Broncos have had around here in a while, because he is what I consider to be an eraser. When you bring him down in the box, he can blitz from anywhere. He's great at all open field tackles, and he's a physical safety. So there's so many guys that are really buying into what Vance Joseph has sold.
We're talking to former Broncos safety Nick Ferguson here on 96.5 The Fan. Is there any vulnerability defensively? Where can the Chiefs have some success, though, perhaps?
Well, you know what? It's shots down the field, because we've seen this season Riley Moss has been attacked on the corners. Obviously, there's no PS2 in this game. And, I like Riley Moss. Sometimes he gets himself in trouble at the line of scrimmage, but we've all been in that situation as far as with our footwork. But it is tacking them down the field. Like I said, no PS2. You have Riley Moss and Chris Abrams drained. So there's going to be some opportunities. And, I don't have to tell you, that track team that you guys have with the receivers that you have, it makes it really difficult for anyone to really defend. But that is, if there's one place to attack the Broncos defense, it is on the corners.
So looking at the other side of the football, Nick, the Broncos defense deserves all the credit in the world. This Broncos offense, though, has at times looked fantastic, and other times it's been a little bit slower. The last couple of weeks are on that end of the spectrum. With Bo Nix at the quarterback position, struggling the last few weeks. J.K. Dobbins, who knows what his availability is going to be on Sunday. What is it going to take for the Broncos to have success against the Chiefs defense, and vice versa, in your view?
Well, it's consistency, and it always goes back to starting fast. And for me, starting fast is setting up the run, really leaning on the run. And I know the Chiefs have done a good job this season, kind of stalling teams when teams try to run the ball. But you need balance, man. You have to at least make the Spagnuolo defense think that you're going to run the ball at least 20 times a game, because if you don't, now you give Spags an opportunity to blitz, move Chris Jones around, create the matchups you want to, and now put a lot of pressure on Bo Nix. And we've seen pressure be a problem for the Broncos starting at the beginning of the season with the Titans. So Sean Payton's going to have to come out with one hell of a game plan, but that means the offense is going to have to execute and not have drive killers as they've had over the season with penalties.
Is there a player offensively that maybe those of us in Kansas City are just completely dismissing, not talking about? We know about Dobbins. I think we know about Cortland Sutton. But is there somebody else that you think could be, I guess, a little bit of an X factor here for the Broncos on Sunday?
Well, there are two guys, Troy Franklin, who got a lot. He was really criticized last year but he seems to be involved more in this offense. And I think he has more yards right now than Cortland Sutton and then Pat Bryant. The team drafted him, and he is a physical guy who loves to block at the point of attack. He's another guy who is developing as a possession receiver for the team. Now, he doesn't have a lot of gaudy numbers, but he is one of those guys, young guys, who understands the game, and he kind of fights and strains to get open. So those two young receivers are two guys, in my opinion, that no one's really talking about and looking at in that particular way that could be major factors in the game on Sunday.
I think one of the more unsung parts of this 8-2 start for the Denver Broncos has actually been this offensive line. It is graded out as one of the best units in football, no matter what metrics it is that you're looking at. And despite that, there's not really like a marquee name, I guess you could say, along this Broncos offensive line. So what is it about those five guys up front that allows them to be so successful as a unit when none of them are massive individuals when you talk about the best offensive linemen in the NFL?
Well, that's just it. It's being great as a unit. And you guys know this. Those offensive linemen, they work well when they've had time to work with one another and work alongside one another. That's how you build that chemistry and continuity. And, I mean, Ben Powers is the only guy that's been injured. Other than that, I mean, these guys have been together for a period of time, and that builds a lot of confidence. Now, here's something else that actually assists with the offensive line not giving up a lot of sacks, but this is also at the same time, you can praise the offensive line, but you criticize the quarterback at the same time. And what I mean by that is Bo Nix has come under a lot of fire locally and nationally because they say, well, he loves to bail and retreat on plays and get outside the pocket. It is his mobility and athleticism that has allowed him to do that, but that also has kept down the sack total by the offensive line. So it's like kind of pick your poison. You can say and praise the offensive line for not really giving up sacks, but you also have to tip your cap to Bo Nix because his ability to scramble and get on the perimeter has also helped out with that stat too as well.
A couple more minutes with Nick Ferguson, former Denver Broncos safety, joining us here on 96.5 The Fan. How are people talking about the Chiefs in Denver? Like, do you guys view the Chiefs as extremely vulnerable? Like, this is the year to get them? What's the feeling, I guess, even confidence heading into Sunday?
Well, there's two schools of thought. It's like, okay, well, this is an opportunity for the Broncos to finally stomp out their division rival and submit themselves as maybe AFC West title contenders. But also, from my standpoint, it's a little scary. And the reason I say that's a little scary is because Kansas City over the years have found different ways to win. Before it was with their offense. Now it's with their defense. We all know the record of Andy Reid coming off the bye, but now you find the Chiefs in a situation, from my estimation, that we've never seen them in. They've lost to the Jags, the Chargers, and the Bills, and they're on the verge of not being in that conversation as far as winning the AFC West. And for me, like a possum backed in the corner, they're dangerous right now. So we can see almost anything on Sunday because this team is in desperation mode, and we've never seen them in that place before. But for the other Broncos fans, they were like, okay, well, we're going to strike while the iron is hot. This is the prime time to knock the Chiefs over. And I'm like, man, pump your brakes. This still is a dangerous team because right now they're in desperation mode. If the Broncos win Sunday, if that happens, I think the Broncos are winning this division. Is that also kind of the thought? You mentioned it's a little scary, but if the Broncos win, I think they are better than the Chargers. They would at that point have proved that they're better than Kansas City. Do you think the Broncos, is it that simple? They win on Sunday, you feel, and people there feel they win this division? No, it's not that simple because it comes down to this for me, guys. How is it that the Broncos win? We just talked about the Broncos' struggles, and they've struggled, and we like week 10, week 11. And we haven't really seen any daylight at the end of the tunnel. So if you tell me on Sunday the Broncos win, which I'm predicting the Broncos are going to win, but the Broncos do it because now their offense has finally come alive, now we can really have that conversation. But if it's one of those games where it's kind of a defensive type of game and it's who can kick the game-winning field goal, is it going to be your kicker or is it going to be Will Lutz? Then to me, it's still up in the air as far as where this team can actually get if they're trying to lean on their offense.
Nick, appreciate it as always, man. Enjoy the game. And my guess is we'll be talking again here in about a month and a half or whatever it is.
Yes, we will. We will talk right before the game on, I believe, Christmas. We will.
That's true. It is Christmas night. I forgot about that. Thanks, Nick.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
There you go. Nick Ferguson, former Denver Broncos safety. You can hear him on the radio out in Denver on KOA 94.1 FM, 850 AM. Always good to get his perspective on the Denver Broncos heading in. Yeah, I hear what he's saying. So it's kind of how in the past we've talked about the Chiefs. Like, in what way do they win? Like, to make you feel good. If standings wise, just find a way to win. But I get what he's saying, which is, did they win because the offense unlocked something, or did they win because the Chiefs' offense didn't do anything and the Broncos were just dominant on defense? And find a way to win, right? I think what you were saying to start the show, for me, I'm looking at this Chiefs game. As much as I would love them to go in there and just dominate and everything will look great, I just need to win. But I get it on their side. They're in a little bit different spot now. But for the Chiefs, when you're 5-4, I don't care if they win 13-12 or they win 45-44. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter to me. Just they have to find a way to win this game on Sunday to stay alive in the West.
No question. No question. That's the biggest goal of this whole thing. Yeah, would everybody love to see it be this win in dominant blowout fashion and kill the confidence level of the Denver Broncos and rise theirs to a level that we haven't seen so far this season? Absolutely. At the end of the day, all that matters is that there's a W next to that game in the column and not an L. That's it. And the Chiefs have been very, very good at adopting that philosophy over the last few seasons of, and I hate to use an adage from a Raiders person, but the Al Davis just win, baby. That's it. And this year, it hasn't necessarily felt that way. This team hasn't been winning those close games. They've been winning games in blowout fashion. So it would also be nice to just see them win a close game, a scratch and claw and fight your way through it sort of game that you come out on the winning side of, to kind of increase your confidence level in those big time moments, because they've been so good at it in the past. This year's just been a little slow.
It does feel like, even like with Nick in his description of things, that they're trying to convince themselves that they can win the Super Bowl, because I think even with the defense that they have, obviously the Chiefs are still favorites, but we even went through them a couple of days ago, our Super Bowl picks. Yeah. None of us said Denver. So,
and I don't, right this second, I don't consider them a Super Bowl contender. Yeah.
Where I think they're trying to convince themselves if the offense can win them a game, then okay, maybe they can put it together and make a run. Where, as you said, for the Chiefs, they're trying to just win a game to prevent a freak out from everybody of, hey, not only is it 5-5, but we're also out of the playoff picture and we're getting down to it where we're past the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, people liked Nick's line when he said, like a possum backed into a corner. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Hey, coming up in 15 minutes, Josh Brisco going to join us. He'll be on the air, don't forget, Sunday, 3 hours before kickoff, hosting Chiefs pre and then, of course, post on the Chiefs Radio Network right here on 96.5 The Fan. But it is that time, normally on a Thursday, but we wanted to wait until our substitute teacher could provide us with a little lesson, I guess.
Welcome to the classroom. Whether it's cooking lessons, singing lessons, or how to commit a heist, this guy wants to teach you what he knows. Well, what he thinks he knows. It's not Cody to you. It's Professor Tap.
Well, Professor Tap, of course, is still recovering from surgery. He'll be back on Wednesday. All is good on that front. We had Professor Bink a few weeks ago. We wanted to give you a chance, Logan. You actually are. What grades do you normally sub?
So it kind of fluctuates. Right. I've done elementary school, middle school, high school, but I have to say that I probably lean more towards the high school kids.
Okay. All right. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, when it comes to decorations for Christmas, or just decorating in general for Christmas, right? There's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of hubbub about when you should hang Christmas lights. That's not necessarily the lesson here, but I will say, I believe you can hang Christmas lights November 1st. You can put your Christmas decorations out already. I would say put them out sooner. This coming from a certified Halloween hater in this guy right here. But
wait, you're also a Halloween hater?
I do not like Halloween at all. Never been a Halloween fan.
You and Bink, what is going on?
Is there a reason behind it? I'm curious what your reason is.
Firstly, I don't like horror movies.
Okay.
Like, it's just not, they're just not something that I enjoy necessarily. And as you become an adult, you begin to realize more and more just how dangerous Halloween can be for adults. Like
wait. I'm not following.
The levels of crime on Halloween.
What? Where are you? What are you doing on Halloween? What do you mean?
Nothing. Not me.
It's not the purge.
What are you talking
That's not
about?
what I'm saying. But like, things happen on Halloween
As
that
you-
wouldn't normally
all
happen
Hallows Eve,
other days of the year.
As an adult, you start to realize how dangerous Halloween is.
For adults,
I'm not following. I'm really not. Professor, I'm
Hang on.
confused.
We need a new lesson. Teach us why Halloween is so,
oh my God.
so destructive
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Well, firstly, people wear costumes and things that they don't normally wear on Halloween.
Right.
So the level of things, in terms of females, those crimes against females tend to rise exponentially on a day like Halloween.
Is there data to back that up?
There is.
Okay. All right.
There is, unfortunately. So that's one thing that, like, as I've gotten, as I've gotten to be an adult and realized that, like, my wife, when my wife wants to go do something for Halloween, I get a little bit nervous.
I thought you were trying to say
younger
people.
sister.
I thought you were like trying to make the case that like people like at the text line have said the razor blades and the Tootsie Pops or something. My goodness.
I'm not saying like in terms of children crimes. That's not necessarily where I'm going with it. But
all right. I'll let you get back to your normal lesson. Otherwise, I'm going to drop out of the class.
Okay. So thank God. I'm going to teach you a little bit about hanging Christmas lights. So, my wife and I, a couple weeks ago, we put Christmas lights up at my parents' house. We're going to be doing it again this weekend. And there is a more efficient way to do it. There is a very, very efficient way to hang Christmas lights. Firstly, you're going to need a couple of ladders. At least 2. Helps if you have a little bit more than that. You need a walkboard. What a walkboard is basically a metal sheet. It usually can hold somewhere between 300 to 500 pounds. And you will just mark that across the 2 ladders. So you'll set the ladder up on the side of your house, front of your house, wherever, right? Make sure that they're sturdy. And you put that walkboard across it. That allows for you to not have to move the ladder every 8 feet in order to get your Christmas lights up. Second thing I'll recommend, get year-round Christmas lights. They make them now. They're not overly expensive.
You just leave them on the house year-round?
Exactly.
Okay.
And you can, it's controlled by an app on your phone, so you can change the color of the lights, no matter what the situation calls for. So you can make them, you can hang them right now, and they can be red and yellow or orange and yellow right now for fall. You can put them as red and yellow for Chiefs games, or if you're a Mizzou fan or KU for whatever, right? But they're there all year long. You have to hang them once, and you leave them alone. But the ones that we have in particular, and I think most year-round Christmas lights have this, they have a couple of options at your disposal. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm raising my hand, and the text line's correct on this. Isn't the most efficient way just to pay somebody to hang the lights?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you've got that sort of money at your disposal, absolutely. Unfortunately for some of us that just bought their first house 8 months ago.
You sound like someone that's about to hang Christmas lights this weekend, and you're dreading it.
I'm not entirely looking forward to it.
Is that happening this weekend?
Yes.
So, it is.
This afternoon into tomorrow, we're hanging Christmas lights, yes.
I have a question, Professor. Do you, when you're hanging Christmas lights, do you like have your AirPods in? Are you listening to Christmas music as you're doing this to try to get in the spirit of Christmas?
Boy, that's not the worst idea I've heard. I got a little outdoor speaker. We were listening to some music a couple of weeks ago, but it was sort of my dad's, middle-aged man music. It was a lot of like 80s and 90s hard rock and things like that. Not a terrible idea. That's what we've been doing all week inside the house this week, is putting the Christmas decorations in the house with Alexa, getting us into the spirit of the holidays with a little Christmas music. So yeah, maybe a little outdoor symphony wouldn't be a terrible idea.
I think it just gets you. I think it gets, even if you're not in the mood, Professor Weber, to put the lights up, it gets you in the mood. You feel a little bit happier about things. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pay to have them hung once, and you're done for good.
Yeah,
there's companies in Kansas City.
I know.
There's somebody listening out there that runs a company.
I know a guy that paid $300 to have his Christmas lights installed on his house. I can do it for myself for free and save that $300. That's just me personally, the guy I grew up with.
So I hate to say this to you because you're about to do this tomorrow, but your fear of Halloween and something bad happening, what you're doing tomorrow is way more dangerous than anything you could do on Halloween.
Yeah, valid point. He's going to hate this story, but we had a situation like a couple weeks ago.
What?
Hanging lights at my parents' house. Dad almost bit it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You almost fell off the roof?
Oh, no, we were up on the ladder.
Okay.
So that's the thing. Like these Christmas lights, you usually hang them along your soffit, which is, that little overhang from your roof at the top of the house. So you put them up there. One of two ways to do it. You can put, they have little adhesive strips on the back, so you can just basically stick it to the soffit, but they also have a couple of holes to put screws in. I recommend you do both. Or you could do it like every other sort of a thing, so that way if that adhesive does wear off and a light falls, it's not going to be, it's not going to cause the whole strand to go down. I don't think you necessarily have to do both for every single light. I myself will be doing that personally, but if you want to do the adhesive on one, do the screws on the next, what have you.
Okay, Professor Weber with rough reviews.
It's not great.
Rough reviews on the text line, I will say. There's a lot of people saying, I thought Bink's lesson couldn't get any worse. Someone says, Drew is always trying to put people in the mood.
Well, yeah. Why would you not want to be in a happy mood or a jolly mood?
Someone says, I'm not sure I'm taking ladder advice from Weber. His dad almost fell on a ladder.
Yeah, he did.
Someone says, I'm a manager at Costco. Just buy the Govee permanent lights at Costco. It's a game changer.
Yeah, we got the Govee lights.
You're talking to someone that has never put up lights on their house, or if I had a house, or again, we don't obviously celebrate Christmas, so I've never done the whole light thing, so I don't know what you're talking about. I've never had to go through that process to figure it out. It seems like it could be fun. Someone else says, get Professor Tap back in immediately. Do you also have fall protection, Logan?
Fall protect. That's sometimes, yes. I mean, typically we'll have a little belt that you can more or less latch on to the ladder. It just depends on your preference, because if the ladder goes, you're going, right? It's one of those situations. Sometimes you can actually have a C-bolt that you can put onto your house somewhere if you're comfortable with that. Attach yourself to it, or a tree that's out behind you. That way you don't fall down. But
913-586-7965. Professor Weber, tenure denied.
I get it. I don't disagree.
Rough out there.
For the person who told me that I'm always trying to get somebody in the mood, I just got to let George Costanza explain something to you.
Oh, gosh.
You're not in the mood? Well, you get in the mood.
That's right. You get in the mood. It's Christmas time. You're not in the mood, then you get in the mood. I think you.
A lot of people say you got to wait till after Thanksgiving, Logan. They're saying you can start. Maybe I get you want to put up the lights early, but they said you got to wait till after Thanksgiving to turn them on.
Absolutely not.
So you'll turn yours on. You'll start turning them on this weekend.
We've already got the interior of the house Christmas decorated, or we've at least started. I'm just. We have one of those people, man.
We have the interior of the apartment decorated. That doesn't mean that we
already?
don't. Yes, but that doesn't mean that we don't celebrate Thanksgiving as well.
He's not saying.
I think that the idea that I think this person texted in with the idea that we're skipping Thanksgiving. We're not skipping Thanksgiving. We're just getting the lights up a little bit early. Because why not?
It's just a holiday that's hard to decorate for. First and foremost, what, you're just going to have fake leaves all over your house? Do the pumpkins really hit the same after Halloween?
No.
In terms of the fall decor? Not really. So get the Christmas season started. The businesses are already doing it. The radio stations are already playing the music. Get involved, man. I can still celebrate Christmas and be excited about Christmas while I'm eating my Thanksgiving dinner.
All right,
those two things can be true.
Up next, let's get back to some Chiefs football. Josh Brisco will be hosting pregame 3 hours before kickoff on Sunday. We'll ask him about his biggest concerns for the Chiefs heading into the Denver game next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trent McDuffie. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes! T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these amazing game day specials. 14-inch two-topping pizzas for just $12 and $4 domestic OP cups. The other place with 5 great Kansas City Metro locations. FanDuel Friday is turning it up with an NBA happy hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boost, bonus, surprises, all designed to give you that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo. It's your weekly pregame NBA happy hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. So visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to grab your reward before the clock expires. Celebrate the beginning of the NBA season in style. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Tomorrow, you'll hear Kansas State football instead of the John Clay Wolf Show. So this weekend, you can catch it on 98.9 The Rock and always on the John Clay Wolf YouTube channel, sponsored by Give Me the VIN, America's best car buyer.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
What's up, KC? It's George Karlaftis. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Kling on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour on a red Friday. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon, Logan Weber with you here on Cody and Gold. We'll get to the trash of the day in 20 minutes. Also, don't forget, coming up in the Chiefs Red Half Hour, Matt McMullen from the Chiefs going to stop by as we continue to get set for one of the biggest games in the Patrick Mahomes era, certainly for the regular season. To talk more about that, let's welcome in Josh Brisco. He joins us each and every Friday at 11. He, of course, will be hosting pregame coverage 3 hours before kickoff, also postgame on Sunday right here on 96.5 The Fan and for the Chiefs Radio Network. Josh, I'm sure you probably have said this and talked about it with some of your friends as well. It feels like for a regular season game in the second week or so of November, this is the biggest one we've seen in the Mahomes era.
Yeah, I think it almost has to be. And look, I mean, we've had plenty of games, even some earlier season games where we've gone, well, you know, this is big for playoff seeding. You know, if the Chiefs want to be the 1 seed, they probably need to win this game against Buffalo or Baltimore or whatever. That started at the very beginning of the year last year, which is kind of crazy to think about. But in terms of like actual playoff positioning in terms of getting into the picture, and then, of course, trying to secure your 10th consecutive AFC West championship. This is not technically, not mathematically, but this is pretty close to a must-win game for the Chiefs to stay in the mix for the race for the AFC West. The funny thing is that if they win this game, all of a sudden, I'm not sure the Chiefs shouldn't be favored to win the AFC West. So that really, there's a lot that hangs in the balance from a standings perspective. There's even more from a vibes perspective right now.
Does Josh Simmons playing or not playing in this game like change how you think the game goes, right? We know how good the defensive front is for Denver, but is it enough difference between him and Moore on Sunday to where it would change your feeling about how the game goes?
Yeah, I think it would a little bit. I mean, we all know, and the Chiefs have shown us as much to say, hey, Josh Simmons is their best left tackle. And Jalen Moore, I think, has done a very good job in the role that he's been in. I think he's fully justified that contract. You're happy to have him as your swing tackle on either side. But if Josh Simmons is able to go, then I think you have to assume the best for him. You have to expect the best from him, where you say, hey, look, I know it's been a long time since you've been on the field, but if the Chiefs do put him out there, if he is ready by Andy Reid's standards, then I think that's nothing but good news for the Chiefs offensive line, because you get your future franchise left tackle out there, a guy who is playing some really good football before his absence. I have no idea what he's been doing physically for the last 4 or 5 weeks, though. So I guess that's the other side of the coin, is that, well, maybe he goes out there and he looks like a guy who hasn't played football in a month. And in that case, maybe it's a little bit of a detriment. But at some point, he's got to go back out there. And I'm hoping that he ends up getting the start against Denver, because I think that's your best case scenario for getting that offensive line back to full power.
So, Josh, you know, we talked with Nick Ferguson earlier about the offensive line for really both of these teams, how important it is for the Chiefs against the Broncos in terms of protecting each one of these quarterbacks. But I want to ask you about the running game for each of these two football teams, because both are dealing with injuries. Doesn't seem like Pacheco is going to be able to go. Doesn't sound good for J.K. Dobbins for the Broncos either. How important is the running game for either of these two football teams going to be when it comes to who ultimately comes out on top?
Logan, I wish so badly that I could tell you that the running game is an important thing that I feel confident about, but I would be lying to you, your audience, everyone with the sound of our voice. I don't know, because, and I can explain why I don't know. 2 weeks ago against the Buffalo Bills, the running game did matter for both sides. The running backs on both sides of the ball did average more than 4 yards per carry, being Kareem Hunt and James Cook, guys who have had very different seasons by and large. But the Chiefs did run the ball well against a battered Buffalo run defense. And again, did it for 4.5 yards a carry just with Kareem Hunt touching the football. So that was the game to me when the running game did really matter, when they did have the upper hand and when it was working. And still, Kareem Hunt got 11 carries. So in this game against the Broncos, I'm probably more inclined to go ahead and try to replace some of that rushing game with the short passing game. If it's a little bit for maybe Rashard Smith, it gets another little breakout opportunity in the screen game. I'm not expecting him to get a bunch of carries. I just think if he was going to do that, again, Buffalo would have been a good time for that. But maybe out of a bye week, you start to see Rashard Smith ramp up a little bit. Just more designed plays for Rashee Rice, trying to get him over the middle of the field, where obviously the Broncos have been dealing with injuries and absences in the running and the linebacker room in its own right. So I don't know how severely the Chiefs are thinking about the run game right now. It's always important in short yardage. It's always important in the red zone. But in terms of like how they actually match up, I could see this being a game where they get away from the running game even more than they did against Buffalo. And then for Denver, I think you want to try to be able to give Bo Nix as much protection as you can, not like in the literal pass pro sense, but in terms of not making him do something every single play. A few opportunities to hand the football off and to just keep the rhythm of that offense moving is a really big deal. You want them to stay ahead. If you're the Broncos, you want to stay ahead of the sticks. You want to be in third and short and not making Bo Nix drop back on 3rd and 10 because he's had 2 incompletions in a row. So again, it sounds like that won't be J.K. Dobbins back there. And if R.J. Harvey is the guy that ends up killing you as a defense, you got to be feeling okay about that from the Chiefs' defensive side to say, hey, you don't have your number one runner either. We have to corral this and make Bo Nix make plays. So I did take your question about the running game, Logan, and make it about both quarterbacks, which is something I tend to do. And I'll note that for my self-scout this week.
We're talking to Josh Brisco, pre- and post-game host for the Chiefs Radio Network. Coming out of the bye week, was there something that you would like to see more of? I think we both agree Rashard Smith, but I'm kind of with you. I'm a little skeptical whether or not that would happen. Is there something else that you think through self-scouting, et cetera, you think the Chiefs need to be doing more, or you would like to see them do more?
Yeah, I'll give you 2 different versions of it in the passing game because, let's just say, let's agree, shake hands on Rashard Smith, and as soon as we see it, I'm going to be so excited for more. But right now, like we've talked about him, and I'd like to see him more involved. 2 things in the passing game. One that might be a single game overreaction, and then one thing that I think is a season-long issue. The short-term thing is just I'm still baffled by the fact that Rashee Rice didn't get a little bit more of a manufactured game plan against Buffalo when nothing was happening very easily for the offense, when the O-line was having some struggles. All the quick, easy stuff to Rashee Rice, it didn't materialize in the way that it had so many other times throughout his still relatively young career. So I'd like to see the Rashee Rice wide receiver 1 game plan return when necessary throughout the rest of the year. But that might be a single game sample size issue because he was looking like that guy beforehand. The other guy, and he's been at the core of a lot of this self-scouting stuff because of the post-game comments from Maxwell Harrison of the Bills, but I'd like to see Xavier Worthy in a different, larger, more versatile role the rest of the year. It seemed like we were seeing more as a legit, not a number 1 receiver, but a standard NFL wide receiver late last season in his rookie year. I'd like to. Everything's been thrown off timeline-wise. I mean, he gets his shoulder knocked out of whack 3 snaps into the year. He's dealing with the ankle. He pops up on the injury report with the ankle again yesterday. So maybe there's a little bit of a physical limitation for Xavier Worthy. I'd like to see him doing a little more in the intermediate or even just deep middle of the field. I feel like he had shown a capability to be a more well-rounded receiver than what the Chiefs have asked him to do so far this year. And especially, getting Rice back, you're still trying to figure out how all those pieces mesh together. And maybe, I guess if I'll give you a third receiver thing, if a little bit more versatility from Xavier Worthy means that Tyquan Thornton does more of your deep route stuff, that's still good for me. I'm still very comfortable with that. Thornton has been really good at coming back to the football, high pointing it, tracking the ball in the air. I've been pretty impressed by Thornton in what has been a very limited sample size since Worthy returned. So those 3 receivers, I'd like to see their roles kind of solidified. And I'm guessing the Worthy thing probably was a topic of conversation because I think you have to want more from him just from a production standpoint for this offense to be as high powered as it can be.
Yeah, on Tuesday, I think Logan and I were discussing Xavier Worthy and where his production is at. Obviously, Andy Reid was asked about it as well. I think you described it well, though, just what it looks like. Because from a target share, he's getting 7 targets a game. I actually don't think you need more than that. Like I don't think he's going to be a 10-target guy. So I think it's just how they use him. It's not that they're not using him enough, if that makes sense. And 100% with you, on Tyquan Thornton, where it feels like for whatever reason, the rapport that Mahomes has had down the field has been better with Thornton than anybody else by far. Like Worthy and him just have not been able to link up.
I mean, this is going to sound hyperbolic. I'm not comparing. I'm going to say at the beginning, I'm not comparing Tyquan Thornton and Tyreek Hill. Okay, just so everyone knows. But I think you could make the argument that Tyquan Thornton has had the best deep route chemistry with Mahomes since Tyreek Hill. I think that's fair. That's more about some of the ups and downs, and that's kind of erasing some good runs from MVS. So that might be a little bit the bitter taste of how that final season went for him here. But it just seems like a vein you've got to tap into. I am stunned. I had not run the numbers on targets per game with Xavier Worthy in the lineup. I'm stunned that it's as high of a number as you just said it was there, but that's absolutely right. I don't need his snap count higher. I don't need a whole lot more targets. I would just like to see him treated more like, again, a receiver who can do some more of those things. Juju Smith-Schuster's always going to be on the field in certain circumstances. I'm totally comfortable with that. You talk about a professional wide receiver. Juju Smith-Schuster is a professional wide receiver in every sense of the word. But I feel like there is untapped potential there, and maybe more Thornton and Worthy means less Hollywood Brown, and I don't necessarily want to get anybody off the field there. I just think when you do have the weapons, and Matt Nagy's talked about this every week since training camp, I think, all the talent they have in the receiver room, I buy that. I really do think this is a really impressive group altogether. But until you find the way to put all those pieces together, right now I think it's been a little bit less than the sum of its parts.
So looking at it through that same lens, Josh, on the defensive side of the football, the one or two things that you think that Chiefs unit needs to do with Steve Spagnuolo to try to get the ball rolling on that side of the football, whether it be the front four or maybe Noah Williams being more involved in the secondary, things of that nature?
Yeah, I think you can kind of go down 2 paths here, which is one, like if I could wave a magic wand, what would I do? And then if I'm just like looking, if I'm Spags, what do I do? And I it's a good thing I'm not, because I have a whole lot less ideas than Spags does. But the thing that just seems like it stands out as this unit's shortcoming so far has been that front four, and it has been the pass rush without it having to be something terribly drawn up. George Karlaftis has had some decent advanced stats in terms of his pressure numbers and everything. It has changed how I look at pressure stats, because I do think Karlaftis is an extremely useful, very good football player, but he has made so much of his success off of Chris Jones being enormously disruptive, and then Karlaftis is the guy that can kind of wrangle and clean up, and that's an excellent way to do things. But Jones has been a little bit less dominant this year. I don't think Karlaftis has ever had a sequence where he's just taken over a game from a pass rush perspective, and the rest of this defensive line is rotational. To Garrett Naughty, to Jerry Tillery, to Mike Pennell, to maybe we'll hear Colin Saunders' name next week. I don't know. To Mike Dana, to Charles Amino, who they're just Ashton Gelati, I should mention, because his role has increased, and I think that's encouraging. But at this point, no one's really separated themselves from that group to say, okay, who is definitively the Chiefs' third best pass rusher right now? I think you can make an argument for most of those guys. I don't feel great about the 1-2 of Jones and Karlaftis at this point. I don't think Jones has played his best football, and I remain optimistic about where Karlaftis goes. I understand why they gave him the contract they did this offseason. Again, he's like a very useful player that you would rather have on your defensive line than have another absence there. But I would love to see Karlaftis if he can add 5 or 10% to the top of his game. If he can add one more tool, then I think he can really be a dominant player. But right now, he's a very, very good one. So that to me is the problem, where I think the secondary is giving you plenty of reason for optimism, other than, covering the tight ends against the Bills. It's more of a linebacker problem by and large, or how you make those safeties work in man, and who you want to be covering a Austin Knox type in the future, hopefully in a playoff run. But all that to say, I feel good about all the defensive backs. I feel up and down about the linebackers, but I know who they are. I know what Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill and Leo Chenal bring to the table. The front four, if they could get an extra gear, I think this defense would look a lot better. And frankly, you can't wave the magic wand. There is no automatic next year. And so I think you've got to figure out how to supplement the pass rush with Chenal, with some more Nick Bolton blitzes. And that's what we've seen Spags doing so far this year.
Josh Brisco, appreciate it, man. We'll be listening pre and post on Sunday right here on 96.5 The Fan.
Appreciate it. Hey, I've got Logan sending me all the dirty secrets about you, Gold. So you just watch yourself there. I've got Logan's ear.
I bet. There you go. That's Josh Brisco. He joins us every single Friday. I got to be careful. I got Cody. I got Drew. We've got Bink filling in a couple days. Logan fill. I got to be careful what I say. Yeah,
that's true. That's
definitely
true. Josh and I are good friends. So
yeah, and you got the Iowa hat on. So I've tried to bite my tongue about that program that's just brutal to watch. I don't know how you guys watch the Hawkeyes.
It's you need a strong stomach for sure.
I mean, like it's last week they obviously lost to Oregon and they were right in the game, but like the fact that even the announcers are sitting there like, can they make one completion on this drive? We'll see if they can do it. It's just like, well, how pathetic is it?
It's better than watching Wisconsin football this year.
Wow.
Hey, man, Wisconsin they just won a game where their punter was their leading passer.
I don't want to talk about that.
Shout out to the Badgers.
I was on Washington against Wisconsin last week. Washington was ranked in the top 25. They were up 10-3. Wisconsin had less than 50 yards passing, and somehow Wisconsin won, also blocked a field goal. It was disgusting.
It was not great.
Shout out
but
to the
sometimes,
Badgers.
hey, man, sometimes you got to win ugly. And that's
Well,
something
Iowa
that
always has to win
Iowa
ugly.
and Wisconsin are really good at. All right. Yeah. Yeah, go Wisconsin. I hope they keep Luke Fickell on a lifetime contract.
Coming up in about 15 minutes, guys, we will get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Matt McMullen from the Chiefs going to join us in studio. I just got an email release again. We mentioned this yesterday. And now no longer, Drew, is it cool, the Mega Millions matching with our station. So it was $965 million. Dang. We said we got to do an office pool. 965? Like, come on. And now I just got an alert that the jackpot has been raised to $980 million. If you're wondering, why do you get alerts, Gold? It's a press release from the Kansas Lottery. It's from the sports betting stuff. I do not get alerts from, like, trust me, I'm not that much of a degenerate. But, like, it's up to $980 million
Locked
now.
in on the total for
He's lying. He's got 80 tickets in the glove compartment of his car
I haven't
right
bought
now.
a single ticket. This is a press release only because during the sports betting legalization stuff, I do not actually get alerts normally. But I did just get that press release literally, I don't know, 60 seconds ago. $980 million now. But I still think, man, it was a sign yesterday, $965 million, 96.5 The Fan. Just saying.
Somebody in the office is going to hit on that. At least at that
point,
you
think somebody in the office is winning the Mega Million? Okay, that's what I thought.
Absolutely not. You got a better chance of being struck by lightning twice.
Well, we learned the Halloween. Logan was acting like Halloween. People are just dying left and right on Halloween. The way you discussed it.
I just don't like it, man. I just cannot. I don't do scary very well, and Halloween's just
Drew's
one of those
on
things,
the same
man.
page. Drew, look,
Yeah, I do not do.
Haunted houses
I've
gone to. I don't need to go again. His is more the clown thing. And I've told him, and he doesn't know when it's going to happen, and it's in the back of his mind. One of these days, he's going to be running the board. We're going to be doing a segment. We're going to be talking to him about Joe Burrow, and then behind him, Pennywise is going to pop up.
Just a clown pop.
He's going to pop up, and it's going to be a great
Do
scene.
you guys remember that trend? That clown thing where they would like show up on college campuses and like because there was that weird
there was
clown
clowns
movie.
walking through neighborhoods and stuff. This was what? I don't know. 8 years ago?
Close to 10 years ago. It's my freshman year of college.
Okay.
Like 2016. And I remember because
that was
one
your
of those
freshman year.
Yeah, a clown broke into our dorm and was like running the hallways of our dorm in the middle of the night.
Locking myself in.
Yeah, I can just remember like had my door closed and locked and like
way.
staring through that little peephole that you get right through the door. And you could see full clown costume and everything just running the halls. It was not fun.
Trash of the day.
All right. Then we'll help you, texter, whoever just texted in this scenario that needs some help. We'll try to get to that, I promise, at some point. But for the meantime, trash of the day has to do with engagement, okay? A 3-year engagement. So there was a 32-year-old woman from Japan. She started up a relationship with an AI bot after she dropped and dumped, I should say, her boyfriend, her real-life boyfriend, had a 3-year engagement, and she decided to marry Mr. Klaus, which was an AI chatbot. First, she was just talking to this bot because she needed someone to talk to, okay? Things escalated, so much so that she broke off the 3-year engagement. She now has since had a legit wedding ceremony with the AI bot, complete with vows and ring exchange. Now, ring exchange, the bot didn't go and buy her a ring, so she bought herself a ring and then gave it to the bot to give to her. I'm guessing. And the ring, how do you put a ring on the bot? It's a smartphone. It's not this is not a robot. This is a chat bot. Remember, this is an AI chat bot. This is not one of those humanoid things, although if you saw the funny video yesterday, the Russian AI bot that just fell flat on its face while they were trying to show it off. That was funny. 3-year engagement. It's one thing, like, if anybody breaks off your engagement, like, you're going to be going through it for a bit anyway. Let alone, I tell you, that not only did she dump you, but then she left you for an AI chatbot, like essentially Chat GPT, and that's her boyfriend now.
That's
going to mess with you. I mean, your mental's all screwed up.
That's her husband now.
Now husband, true.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for if you're in a relationship and your significant other comes to you and says, there's someone else. But when your significant other, who you've been engaged to for 3 years, comes to you and says, there's something else, no, you didn't get broken up for a woman or a man. You got broken up with over an inanimate object.
That's way worse.
So
way
bad.
Worse.
This man, how do you come back from that?
You don't. You're scarred for life because of that.
I think
You're scarred.
I think it takes a very long time to bounce back.
Just go to the pet shelter and adopt the 6 cats already. It's over for you, big dog. It's
Someone
over.
says, let's
I don't
face
know if
it.
it's
If they were,
but I do think a pet would be nice to have a companion, at least for a little bit.
I mean, someone says, love is love, Gold, leave her alone. I mean, look, as someone else pointed out, if this bot is talking to you, how do you know the bot's being faithful to you either?
Valid, man.
You're screwed either way. Someone else said, well, let's face it, if they were engaged for 3 years, it wasn't serious. Anyway.
I don't
what was
buy
taking?
that.
Well, maybe he had some clues that, like, look.
I mean, at 32 years old, being engaged for 3 years, yeah, that's tough. I mean, like, my wife and I were engaged for 4 years, but we were both college students with no money, so you just kind of had to do what you had to do.
I do agree with multiple texts that it's like, this guy, while it's mentally scarring that she left you for a bot, at the same time, you probably did dodge a bullet here. If she's willing to marry a chatbot, you probably actually should be thankful. Maybe that's what gets you through it. You tell yourself, you know what? She was crazy. Crazy.
This is just the gender reversal of the movie Her. Remember that with Joaquin Phoenix where he marries an AI?
Is that the movie someone was talking about? Someone
Yes.
said this is the Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Yeah, it's an awful movie, but it's somehow a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, which tells you everything you need to know.
Someone says, love, don't judge is a phase that's over. I'm judging. Yeah. I mean, someone says, you can't let her being crazy make you crazy. The man dodged a bullet when she left. Yeah, that's probably correct. But anyway, that is the trash of the day. Now, real quick, someone texted in right before trash of the day and said, hey, I need your guys' help. And here we are. We'll help you before we get back into some Chiefs stuff. From the 816, I need help on protocol with this 1 and 2, the only show that would help me with this. That's right. We are the only show that would help you. I literally got a last-minute wedding invite last night, and the wedding is this evening. Do you think I still need to try and bring a gift, or am I exempt because for whatever reason the person forgot to include me when wedding invites went out 2 months ago? I do think you still have to bring a gift, yes. As frustrating as it is last minute, now don't stress about it. Like, it's last minute. Get what you can get. Honestly, maybe just go to the cash route. That might be easier here. But I absolutely think, even if you're invited last minute, while you might question why that's the case. Did they really lose the invitation? Did they just realize it was a bad look not to invite you? I think you got to get a gift still.
Absolutely not.
Hey,
you say no?
I agree 100%.
No.
Hang on. Is this person even going to the wedding? Is my question. Like, you get a last second invite.
Yeah, he said
you
he or
are
she
going?
said they're going.
If you're going, don't bring a gift.
100%.
If you're not going, maybe buy something off the registry.
If this is I agree. If you're not going, then get something off the registry. If you are going, then I think there's a level of, this is last second. My presence is essentially your gift.
My question would be,
and they're not going to remember. I mean, I can't speak for you, Drew, but I know, like, my wife and I couldn't tell you who bought what on our registry at our wedding. Could not tell you. It's been 2 years. I have no idea. But I remember people who were at my wedding.
All right, I want to talk more about this on the other side. Matt McMullen from the Chiefs is in studio. He's smiling. He's got some thoughts on this as well. I want to talk about that, and then obviously we'll get right back into Chiefs and Broncos next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Get ready, Missouri. Kickoff is near. The world's largest sports book is coming to your fingertips. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. With high and transparent app limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Start betting like a pro in Missouri on December 1st. Learn about your new bookie today at circasports.com. The world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Circa Sports launches December 1st.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Every now and then I rinse it out, and I need Downy rinse tonight, and I need it more. My king was the bed and the smell never leaves. I don't know what to do, I'm always in the dark. The sweat and dead short smells like a dog park. Downy rinse it tonight. Downy Rinse fights stubborn odors in just one wash. When impossible odors get stuck in, Rinse it out.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour. March 26th, T-Mobile Center. The lights go down one final time. Tickets are on sale now at journeymusic.com. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
At Straight Talk, we know the holidays are your time to say
Yes.
So why put up with a wireless company that makes you say
Out of data?
Or
no service here?
Switch to Straight Talk and say yes to real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network covered by Verizon. And with a free 5G phone when you activate select plans, someone else in your family can say yes! Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Based on RootMetrics State of 5G Report, United States 1H 2025. Experiences may vary. Not an endorsement of Verizon. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. I don't know if you just heard our Trash of the Day story earlier, but, you know, no judgment. But, hey, it's a different world out there these days. But I think one thing is still the same. You should be confident where it counts because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. I'm talking about Blue Chew, a small chew for a big difference. Their licensed medical providers work with you individually to find the right ingredient for your prescription. And if you don't like swallowing pills, that's no problem because Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. And it's not just about performance either, guys. Give her group chat something to talk about because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. You can discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Hi, I'm Nick. And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box so that family memories would be safe and could always be enjoyed together. And starting now, we're offering listeners early access to our best deal of the year during our $9 tape sale. 1 million families and counting have trusted Legacy Box to convert their aging media because Legacy Box is safe, simple, and affordable. From fading over time to risks like fire and water damage, your videotapes, film reels, and photos aren't protected unless they're on a digital format. With the holidays approaching, don't wait. Simply fill your Legacy Box. We'll take care of the rest. It's the most meaningful thing you can do this holiday season and the perfect time during our best sale of the year. Visit legacybox.com/value to get early access to our Black Friday sale and digitize your memories for only $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/value. legacybox.com/value.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger, Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. Their max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon with you. Logan Weber filling in for Cody. We've got Mac McMullen from the Chiefs hanging out with us. We're going to get the Chiefs, I promise. I promise.
Right.
Real quick, though, you were in here when we were going through the text line. The question from the texter was essentially that they got an invite to a wedding last night. The wedding's tonight. Do they need to bring a gift? And the text line split on this. A lot of people are saying if you're going to the wedding and you're going to eat and drink, then yeah, you still need to bring a gift. A lot of people are saying don't even go. Like, it's disrespectful. Why did you not get the invite till now? I think what we don't know, and the texter can respond back, is like, what's the relationship here? Are you just like a friend? How often do you hang out? You're clearly not best friends because you would have known that you didn't get invited a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm curious about the circumstances surrounding this. Like, super bizarre. I guess maybe if they were just like out with them and said like, oh yeah, you should come. Like, come to our wedding. I guess that makes sense.
It's tomorrow night.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's super weird. I think this is an easy like just shoot them like $50 via Venmo kind of situation. I don't think you have to get them an actual gift.
Just get a card and cash.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally unrealistic to think you could get them a gift in like 12 hours.
Yeah, I mean, the registry is probably already
full.
Picked through.
It's a Friday. This person's probably working all day today. Then they have to presumably go home and like shower and get ready to go to the. When are they going to have time to like get to a brick and mortar location? I don't think Amazon does 30-minute deliveries yet, so it just doesn't make sense.
Would you commit? Like, let's say somebody invited you to a wedding tomorrow night. Would you go? Like right now? Would you be there?
No.
No.
I'm not going.
Again, I don't think so because if it was someone you really cared about, you would have already been invited. You would have known. Now, mistakes happen. We told you our old producer, they sent out wedding invites and nobody got them. And then about a month before the wedding, they were like, oh, bleep. And so that was still fairly last minute. This is the night before, though. And that one was like truly a mistake. Like their digital invitations just did not like get sent. It was a mess. And so a lot of people couldn't go because of that. But we still got a month heads up to figure out it was an out-of-state wedding, so that was a little bit of a pain, but we still win. If the night before, assuming it's in city, like I don't like unless it was a really good friend, I don't think I would find a way to go that quickly.
Well, you know, the RSVP wrangling is like the hardest thing to do, I feel like, when 100%. You're planning a wedding. And with the producer that you're mentioning, I'm imagining his wife saying, like, your friends are the worst. Can they just respond? And then he's like, I don't know. And then realizes none of you got it.
Someone says, going back to the text, then we'll move on. They said they've known each other since high school, but they do not regularly stay in touch. Wife-to-be was in charge of sending invites months, and somehow I was left off the list.
Oh.
So you weren't on the list.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if they are inviting you the night before your wedding, and I'll just speak as myself as a married person, if I'm inviting you to my wedding the night before, I have zero expectation of you bringing a gift. And if the expectation of these people is for you to bring a gift to their wedding despite being invited the night before, that couple has a problem. I don't think this is on you. You can bring a gift if you want to, but you should feel like you were under zero obligation to do it.
Someone said, can we also talk about a Friday night wedding? The worst. Yeah, the Friday night wedding's tough. In the fall, that's a tough night for the wedding.
Well,
right?
Especially for people that aren't local. Like, you have to take time off work, and that's brutal.
That is very true.
They're way cheaper. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But it's a pain.
That's probably why the person did the Friday night wedding. That's fair. All right, let's talk some Chiefs football, Matt. You're getting ready to head out to Denver, man, and you've been around this team for multiple years now and throughout the entire Mahomes era. We've been saying, and I think most people agree, this is the biggest regular season game that Mahomes has had. I think, I don't know if you agree, because of what's at stake. This is not just to clinch the division. This is not to clinch a 1 seed, which they've had big games like that. This is to make sure you have a chance still to win the West and keep this 9+ year run going.
Yeah, it's obviously a very big game. I think we all know that. I think what's interesting, though, is the Chiefs have had all this success over the last 9 years, and it's easy to think that they just kind of rolled to AFC West titles and conference titles and Super Bowls during that time. Like, there was no stress at all. You know what's funny is I was thinking about this. Like, I feel like I've felt this way before about a game. And actually, the circumstances are pretty nuts. So in 2021, it was week 10. The Chiefs were 5-4. Now, the 2021 season was strange. The team started 3-4, and it was a kind of a struggle early on. Didn't get over 500 till week 9 that year. But the Chiefs were 5-4 going into week 10 back in 2021. They were playing the Raiders on the road. Now, you might say, it was the Raiders. That must have been like a gimme game. The Raiders were 5-3 and playing good football. And the circumstances of that game, and it was a Sunday nighter, I think, was if the Chiefs won that game, they would have been in first place in the division. If they lost it, they would have been in last place in the division. And I'm certain the conversation around that game at the time was, this is the biggest regular season game in the Patrick Mahomes era. Now, the Chiefs rolled in that game, 41-14. Would love a similar result here in this one. But just goes to show that Mahomes and the Chiefs, even though it maybe doesn't feel like it, they have faced big regular season moments like this with a lot on the line. And more often than not, they've come through. I think about 2023 as well. That game against the Bengals late in the year, which Burrow didn't even play in. It was Jake Browning in that game. But that was coming off the Christmas Day loss to the Raiders. And the Chiefs needed to win that game to lock up the division. The Chiefs were 9-6 going into that game, and the vibes were not great, right? Well, they win that game, didn't lose the rest of the year, won the Super Bowl. So I think, it's a very big regular season game for Mahomes, but I don't think that this is a situation where he's never faced this kind of moment before. The Chiefs have been in big regular season games during the era, and they've usually found a way to win them.
As you said, they have found ways to win them, which is why, like, from a confidence standpoint, I'm very confident coming off the bye. Everything that is at stake. Usually this is when Mahomes elevates his game even more, when Andy Reid and this coaching staff, like these are usually the games that the Chiefs do look their best, and it's an A+ type of performance.
And I know nobody wants to hear about the bye week stat with Coach Reid. We talk about it every single year. I get it. But it's real that the Chiefs had time to reflect, to self-scout over the last 2 weeks. And I think that's only beneficial when you're going into a big game like this, where the team had a chance to rest a little bit, get healthy, recharge, and really take a look inward before you take on the second half of the season, beginning with obviously a huge game on Sunday.
So, I mean, you look at the Broncos. I mean, the sack numbers are all anybody seems to want to talk about, right? 46, 14 more than any other team in the NFL. This Chiefs offensive line has been dealing with a little bit more of an injury issue over the last 2 weeks, but so far, Jalen Moore, Jawan Taylor, nothing there in terms of the injury report, and Josh is back with the team. Is there a little bit more of a level of confidence in this Chiefs offensive line going in this week against arguably the best front four in football?
I'd add, too, that Trey Smith had 2 weeks to get healthy, too. I mean, gutting through that back injury against the Bills says a lot about him, but having that time off, I'm sure, was beneficial. You want your offensive line to be as healthy and as intact as possible against this front, because the Broncos' pass rush, in my opinion, is the story of the game. 46 sacks this year. So you said they're 14 ahead of second place. The gap between number 1 and number 2 is the same as the gap between number 2 and number 25 on the sack list. They have the most sacks through 10 games since 1989. And it comes from everyone, right? Like Benito is the guy we always talk about, but Zach Allen has 6 sacks. Jonathan Cooper has 7.5 sacks. They have 10 players on their defense that have multiple sacks this year. And a lot of that is because of their blitz rate. They blitz at like a 27% clip, and they're going to blitz us in this game, I'm sure of it. You look back at week 10 last year against the Broncos, they blitzed at a 57% clip. So got to be ready for that, and you want your offensive line to be as healthy as possible. So another reason I think coming off the bye, it's just helpful that they had this time to rest and prepare for this game, because if the Chiefs can protect, I'm confident they can move the football against these guys, because we've seen it all year. I mean, since week 4, even with the Bills game, the Chiefs have the number 1 total offense in the NFL. number 7 scoring offense in that time. Just a matter of getting back on track, and that begins with protection.
Matt McMullen from the Chiefs joining us in studio here for a Chiefs Red Half Hour. You've gone to just about, it feels like every venue at this point in the NFL. I don't know if it's every single venue.
I've got 2 left.
You got 2 left. Okay.
Yep.
And so certainly you've been to Denver before, and in the AFC West, it's the only real road environment the Chiefs ever will go to, right? Because, I mean, let's be real, the Chiefs fans travel to LA and they travel to Vegas. Denver is going to be like a real environment. Now, they just went to Buffalo, which is hostile as well. I guess what I'm asking you is where does Denver stack up? Because I view this as one of the top 5-6 venues at least that are remaining in the NFL, because so many of these have become where teams are destination type of travel sites.
Yeah, I love their stadium, and the atmosphere is great. It feels a lot like the atmosphere in Kansas City. It's awesome. I'll tell you what, though, there will be one more Chiefs fan in the stands on Sunday because my wife is going out to the game because her whole family lives in Denver. My father-in-law, my brother-in-law, huge Broncos fans, and she's going out to this game. She's flying out today. She'll be in Chiefs gear in the stands with her Bronco family, and it just brings me joy knowing that at one point her dad will look at her and see her in Chiefs gear cheering on, hopefully like a Rashee Rice touchdown, and he'll think to himself, what happened here? How did we get to this moment?
She's been corrupted.
Yeah. And hopefully she's leaving happy and the rest of the family isn't happy. I think I can say that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So I looking at the offense for Denver, I feel like there's been a lot of conversation over, let's say, the last month about how the Broncos defense is the Broncos defense, but the offense has been a little bit stagnant. Bo Nix has struggled. Of course, J.K. Dobbins is kind of off and on the injury report. His status is pretty much in question for Sunday. What is it going to take for the Chiefs defensively to have success against a Denver offense that we've seen have some pretty glaring holes in terms of its ability to succeed?
Yeah, well, I tell you 2 things. First is stopping the run, because they use the run really effectively. Now, if Dobbins doesn't play, that's a big deal, and hasn't practiced this week. He's 5th in the NFL in rushing yards, and Dobbins just a really good player, averaging over 5 yards per carry. When he's kind of rolling, sets up play action for Knicks, and they're difficult to stop. If he doesn't play, that's a big deal. Now, R.J. Harvey is a pretty good player. I like him a lot. He hasn't shouldered like the full load this year. I think he's still a good player, though, and stopping him will be important on Sunday. The other thing, though, if the Chiefs can stop the run, let's not have it close in the fourth quarter, because the Broncos have found this lightning in a bottle where if you look at their fourth quarter numbers, it's crazy. They have the number 1 point differential and yard differential in the fourth quarter this year. You can say what you want to about Knicks, and I get it. His numbers are up and down. In the fourth quarter this year, he has the most total touchdowns and the most total first downs of any quarterback in the NFL. So I'll give them credit. They've found ways late in games. The Chiefs know all about that, right? And I think in this game, stop the run. And if you have an opportunity to seize this game and not have it be in question in the final 5 minutes, that's your path to victory.
Do you agree with some of the comparisons to the Chiefs from a year ago? I understand they have Bo Nix. The Chiefs had Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so let me be clear on that. But the Chiefs, people are saying, man, they're not that impressive. They're winning all these one-score games. It's not sustainable. The Chiefs won 15 games, went to the Super Bowl, as we know, a year ago. The Broncos, it feels kind of the same. You were mentioning the fourth quarter success. When they got to have it, they find a way to get it. Even if Bo Nix looks terrible all game, the one drive they got to have, he's gotten it. Do you agree with some of the similarities?
Here's what I've learned being a Chiefs fan is I will never apologize for winning, and I will not criticize the Broncos for winning games. Now, half of their wins this year, they trailed in the fourth quarter. I think what that tells me is maybe the margin is thin there, and if you have an opportunity to make another play or two and they don't make that play, then you can win the football game. So for the Chiefs in this game, if the opportunity is there to make that play or to prevent the Broncos from making that play, you have to take advantage of that. But the Broncos shouldn't apologize for winning, and they're 8-2 for a reason, and I'll give them credit for it.
With the injury to Isaiah Pacheco, it seems like Andy and Matt Nagy and that offensive staff have kind of found more unique ways to involve the running game, and some of that's involved putting Rashee Rice in the backfield, whether it be at the quarterback position or, beside Mahomes out of a shotgun set. Should there be an expectation for fans to see a little bit more of Rashee Rice out of the backfield, or maybe some Xavier-worthy jet sweeps and things to kind of extend the running game a little bit without utilizing a really low-depth running back room?
I love that idea, and I think when you're facing a great pass rush like this, that's what you have to do. It's the quick passing game over the middle where you use the passing game as an extension of the running game almost, but also stretching out the defense horizontally. And I think about over the years, how the Chiefs handled players like Max Crosby or Nick Bosa or like Khalil Mack. You use those jet sweeps, those pop passes to install a little bit of doubt in their mind when they're pass rushing. Because the last thing you want to do against a team like this is be in like 3rd and 12 because they're going to tee off. And you want to stay ahead of the chains by running the football, but also by using those different elements in your playbook to just create that doubt. And, I think about the crazy 4th and 17 conversion against the Bills a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
You watched Joey Bosa on that play. So Joey Bosa is rushing Mahomes. And even on 4th and 17, he saw Travis Kelce leak out and turn around as if he was going to haul in a screen. And Bosa, even on 4th and 17, when he has a clear lane at the quarterback, stopped for a second, turned around. That allowed that play to develop because otherwise Mahomes would have had no time. So little things like that. Hopefully not a lot of 4th and 17s for the Chiefs in this game, but overall, what you're saying I agree with, that you can use Rasheed, you can use Worthy, you can use Brashard Smith, I think, in a lot of different ways to add a different dynamic to the offense.
We're talking to Matt McMullen. He's in studio with us as the Chiefs get set to head out to Denver. 3:25 kickoff right here on 96.5. The Fan. Pregame coverage with Josh Brisco begins 3 hours before. The way the Chiefs have, I would say, defensively gone after teams and exotic blitzes and Spags, his ability to do that. The part that gets underrated, I think, is coverage outside of Trent McDuffie from Jalen Watson. And we were having a discussion, I think, yesterday. He's obviously a pending free agent. He's probably going to have a bigger market than people think. Do you think Jalen Watson is kind of underrated in this Chiefs defense? Because I feel like when he's healthy, and I know he's had some injury history, but when he's healthy, I actually think he's one of the more underrated players on this entire defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so much of what you think about a player is created based on where they were drafted. And Jalen Watson was a 7th-round draft pick, but I think it's almost the opposite, where you find a player like that in the 7th round who can start for you at corner in multiple Super Bowls and really hold his own. I think Jalen's been great. And, it's a credit to Brett Veach for finding a player like that late in the draft and kind of rolling the dice on him, and they end up being a guy that you rely on. I think he's been awesome. Noel Williams has also been really impressive this year when he's been out there.
Third best lockdown rate. We were stunned to see that. Third best lockdown rate of any corner in football.
I mean, how about that, right? So it'll be a challenge, over the remainder of the season, facing a lot of good offenses. But I'll always have confidence in Spags and the guys that we roll out there. Since the beginning of the 2023 season, the Chiefs still own the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. It's crazy, and it's because of guys like Jalen Watson and Noel Williams and others, not just your high-profile guys like Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie, because it takes everybody, right? And Brett Veach has done such a great job of finding these players that come up in big moments.
Step away for the Chiefs-Broncos for a second. Just the rest of the AFC. We saw the Patriots win again last night. Drake May, he's the real deal. I think we all agree at this point. Now, I get people will point at the schedule, and it's soft, but their 2 toughest opponents, they have won. Buffalo, they obviously beat the Bucs a week ago. When you look at this AFC picture, I know the Chiefs got to handle their own business, but let's just step away from that for a second. When you see the Colts and the Patriots and the Broncos there atop the AFC, do you think this is really, really wide open? Do you think it's just it's one of those where people want to see those teams prove it, or do you actually think it's just so wide open and truly there's 6 or 7 teams that can actually go make a run?
I think it's really competitive. I think there's extreme parity in the NFL right now, which ultimately is a good thing for the league. I mean, it's what the league wants. It's why it's designed the way that it is, where the team that has the worst record picks first in the draft, and why you have a salary cap and things like that. I do think everything is right there for the Chiefs, though. And that's why this game is really important, because the Chiefs control their own destiny at this point in the AFC West, where you play the Broncos twice. You have an opportunity to make up the ground that you have against them just by playing them. And in the AFC in general, Baltimore right now making a playoff push, but normally you'd see Baltimore at the top of the standings, right? Not the case. Buffalo obviously played really well in the game against us, but losing that game against Miami, it kind of makes you question, like, who are the elite teams going to be at the end? And that's why football is so fun, because we don't know. I mean, it's only week 11, a lot of football to be played, right? And that's where it's also a great opportunity for the Chiefs, like I've been talking about, because 5-4 isn't at all where the Chiefs kind of hoped to be when the season began, but everything's still right there. It's not like anyone's running away with it. And I get the Broncos are 8-2, the Patriots 9-2 now. I mean, really impressive, but a lot of football left to play, and I'm excited for the Chiefs to get after it.
So, looking at the AFC as a whole, I think there's some people that are inadvertently saying that there's a changing of the guard happening, but you're right. I mean, you look at the 1 seed standings right now, and the chances for the usual suspects, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bengals, isn't necessarily there. Is there a view in your mind of the Chiefs, say they get the 6th seed and they don't win the AFC West, is there a path for the Chiefs that you would be most comfortable with them playing in order to get to a Super Bowl?
I'll tell you what, I just look at the 2023 playoff run, and that playoff run, if people didn't already believe, they should look at that and say the Chiefs can beat anybody on any day. And football is hard. Does that mean the Chiefs are going to win every single game? No, obviously not. But I have full faith the Chiefs can do it whenever they need to on any given Sunday or Monday or Wednesday or Thursday or whenever they have to play football. Because look back at the 2023 run. They're the 3 seed, I think. So you have to play the Dolphins in the coldest game in recent memory, 3rd coldest game in NFL history. Then you go on the road and beat Buffalo. You go on the road and beat Baltimore. And then you beat the 1 seed Niners in the Super Bowl. I mean, listen, football is hard. The Chiefs went out there, and it's one of the greatest playoff runs and most difficult playoff runs in NFL history, I think. So whether the Chiefs get the 1 seed or the 7 seed, I have full confidence they can go out there and play great football and always have a chance. I really want to win the AFC West for a 10th straight year, though. And let's go ahead and go take care of business against the Broncos and go do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I want to be able to still talk about pushing the Patriots dynasty. I was saying that earlier in the show, Matt, that we all know what the Patriots did in the AFC East. And if you want to continue to have that conversation and comparing the dynasties, a big chunk of that is going to be divisional dominance. And the Chiefs are very, very close to getting to where the Patriots were in the AFC East. But, of course, that a win on Sunday is required to have a chance to keep that conversation going. I will say these teams would never say it publicly, but if the Chiefs, the Bills, or the Ravens, let's say they were 5, 6, 7. Let's say they were the 5, 6, 7 seed, which is crazy to think about, but it could happen. Unlikely the Ravens to me can get in without winning the division, but we'll play along for a second. If Josh Allen is going on the road to Indy, Mahomes is going on the road to, I don't know, in this scenario, Pittsburgh or something like that. And, you have those quarterbacks on the road. There's one, they might even be favorites, but 2, I don't know any fan base in those cities that's going to feel good whatsoever. No matter how many, let's say the Colts win 14 games. I don't know what the math is on them right now to do that, but that's where I'm like, that'd be an amazing thing to see play out, because the best quarterbacks to me still come January are the quarterbacks that I'm always going to side with. And obviously the Chiefs have the best one in the league.
And listen, I'm a Chiefs fan. I remember going to the Chiefs-Ravens game, and was it 2010?
I was there for that one.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, the Ravens are really good. I didn't realize.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows? I think the Colts and the Patriots are playing great football, and the Broncos too. I mean, they deserve to be in the positions that they're in. But yeah, it is kind of funny narrative-wise to think like, congratulations, you're hosting a playoff game. You're facing Josh Allen.
I have more faith in the Patriots than the Colts. I just do. Like, if you're asking me, like, what would I be more nervous if, let's say the Chiefs don't win the division and they had to go on the road to New England? I would be way more fearful of that, because I think Drake May is going to be one of these really special quarterbacks for a while. I'm not sold on the Colts, and I know we'll have next week to talk about the Colts coming to Arrowhead, and hopefully that is a huge game and everything. And the Chiefs are coming off a win, but I think New England is way more legit in terms of going on a deep playoff run, because I believe in their quarterback more than I believe in the Colts quarterback.
I believe in the Patriots coach too. I mean, Mike Vrabel. Obviously.
How about those Tennessee Titans? What a great decision that they made there. Their GM and him didn't get along, and then they fired that GM like 9 months later anyway, and now Vrabel's kicking ass with the Patriots.
His heir apparent was already fired less than 2 years in. Yeah.
Well, this is why culture is so important, and I know listen, I'm a nerd, but also a lot of nerds want to be like, oh, culture doesn't matter. It's all about just the X's and zeros and all that. Culture matters, right? And with Vrabel, he's the ultimate culture guy. And I think Coach Reid's the same way. When Coach Reid got here in 2013, completely changed the culture, completely changed it, night and day, right? And really, the Chiefs haven't looked back from that moment. I think the Patriots are in a similar situation where Vrabel has kind of set an expectation with that team. And yeah, clearly, May is a pretty good player. Fun to watch last night. Looks a lot.
What do you guys think of the unis?
Older than he is.
We're gonna have in 2 years, I guess we'll see that the Chiefs, the rivalry unis or whatever. The AFC West turn is coming up in a year or two, and I'm fascinated to see what the Chiefs are gonna do. What did you make of the Patriots look? They looked like a high school team that was gonna call themselves, the Grandview Patriots, but they got the wrong color match, and so the coloring was off. That's what it looked like.
I'm the wrong person to talk to about crazy uniform designs, because I like traditional football uniforms. Maybe because I grew up a Chiefs fan. I don't know. But,
yeah.
They looked kind of desaturated to me. I don't know. Like, they were okay.
It truly looked like someone just screwed up on the color match.
Yeah, the combination wasn't great. I liked the gray jerseys. I liked the look of those and like the matte helmet. I kind of like those, but they just didn't pair well together.
You'll win me over with the matte helmet every single time. My dream, even though I'm with you, I'm traditional on the unis too. My dream is a matte black Chiefs helmet, red outlined arrowhead, with like the all white uni. That's my dream. Black helmet, all white, everything else. It'd be amazing. But
if you don't mind, do you mind if I ask Matt this question?
All right, then we got to get to break.
Okay, Matt.
Let's hear it.
My thought process is that the Chiefs debut an all black jersey and they black out arrowhead for one night. I think it would be very cool to have like a theme, sort of like a blackout night where you give everybody like black towels or something. I don't know.
Drew
something
wants
cool
whiteouts or blackouts at Arrowhead. I explained to him that Arrowhead doesn't need the gimmicky stuff.
This is what Cincinnati's doing, right?
Yep.
This is okay.
Everybody's doing this.
Exactly, Matt. This is exactly it. It's exactly it. When you don't have the same tradition and stuff and the great atmosphere, you got to come up with gimmicky stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I know people want the Chiefs to have crazy uniforms. I love the Chiefs' traditional uniforms.
So do I.
I'm just a fan of it. I don't know.
Matt, appreciate it, man. We'll let you get over to Arrowhead. I know practice and Andy are going to speak here in about an hour. So that's Matt McMullen getting set for Chiefs and Broncos. Up next, we get to what's trending, then we'll discuss a little bit more where everybody's confidence is at heading into Sunday. Next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan, and the other place is your sports watching headquarters this fall. Now with 5 great area locations, Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Enjoy Red Friday specials all day.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
there's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
It's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
FanDuel Friday is turning it up with an NBA happy hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boost, bonus, surprises, all designed to give you that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo. It's your weekly pregame NBA happy hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. So visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to grab your reward before the clock expires. Celebrate the beginning of the NBA season in style. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem. Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Painkillers, steroids, ice packs, and gravity chairs. Nothing relieved Abby's back pain. But the answer was right there the whole time.
I've heard the QC Kinetics commercials many times on the radio, and it seemed like all of a sudden, everywhere I went, every store I went into, when I'd get in my car, there was the QC Kinetics commercial. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting the idea. I'm supposed to go and check out and have a consultation.
Patients who have exhausted every means for relief are always welcome at QC Kinetics. In fact, tens of thousands around the country will tell you that QC Kinetics regenerative treatments helped relieve their chronic joint pain without any surgery or harmful drugs.
I feel like a person that's never had back pain. And I have written QC Kinetics and the phone number down on my business card so many times I can't count.
Abby can't stop talking about what QC Kinetics did for her. Now it's your turn. Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
You think you understand how this business works, but you don't.
Landman, TV's biggest phenomenon, returns to Paramount Plus. From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Yellowstone, starring Billy Bob Thornton.
You have to know the rules of the game and bend them, and you really have to know them to break them.
Demi Moore,
I want success. Get it for me.
Andy Garcia, Ali Larder, and Sam Elliott.
You don't even know the game you're playing, do you?
Landman, new season, streaming November 16th, only on Paramount Plus. Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes videos like MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Best Bets. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit TellyTire.com today.
Number one on What's Trending, Chiefs, Broncos, Sunday afternoon, 3:25 kickoff right here on 96.5 The Fan. Pre-game coverage starts 3 hours before kickoff. We're going to talk a little bit more on the golden locks and some betting stuff, but the Chiefs 3.5-point favorites going into this game. We all know massive ramifications for the AFC West and, frankly, for the playoff outlook for Kansas City as well. We're going to hear from Andy briefly at 1 o'clock to maybe get some more clarity on the injury front, but Isaiah Pacheco has not practiced at all this week. Yesterday, Xavier Worthy popped up. I assume he's going to be fine, but he's had this ankle thing pop up 3 or 4 times throughout the season. We also know George Karlaftis a couple days ago, but he was fine yesterday. So really it's Isaiah Pacheco. And then Josh Simmons, he's healthy. It's just whether or not Andy Reid basically is going to trust him to play on Sunday.
How seamless has it been for him to get back involved in this team and in the game planning? You know, missed a month, came back during the bye week to seemingly get himself back in shape. But for a guy that hasn't been involved in practices or team meetings or position group meetings in a month, can be a lot, especially for a young guy, a rookie trying to get back involved. Number 2 on What's Trending, the MVPs have been announced for the American League and the National League of Major League Baseball. And no surprise on the National League side, it's Shohei Ohtani.
My goodness.
3 in a row. He's won 4 of the last 5, 2 of those being in the American League and now 2 in his 2 years in the National League. He's the best player on the planet. I think that there are legitimate conversations beginning now and will probably continue until the end of time that Shohei Ohtani might be the greatest baseball player of all time.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah,
I agree.
I think he is already. But I get people that are not ready to say that yet. But he is absolutely sensational, and it was a no-doubter that he was going to win MVP on the NL side. Then on the American League side,
it's Aaron Judge. Back-to-back years. This one, I will say, a little bit more controversial from some, including myself. Lets me know I'm not sure a catcher was ever going to win MVP again. At this, I mean, it's the greatest catching season of all time. It's arguably the hardest position to play in baseball, and he still hit 60 home runs and led the league in RBIs. Still wasn't enough.
So I don't think it's this massive outrage that Cal Raleigh did not win, because you're correct. You are correct that he had the best catcher season we've ever seen. My only thing is, the reason why Aaron Judge won, though, is because that's how special the season he also had.
Right.
Like if Cal Raleigh did his season and then Aaron Judge wasn't there, then it's a different convo. I think you can make a case for both. I would have voted for Cal Raleigh, but I don't think it's as crazy as, I get why Mariners fans are upset, but I don't think it's like this some disservice to baseball and all that. But you might be right that if Cal Raleigh cannot win in a year like this, then what do you got to do? But I'm not surprised with the results, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I'm not either. I just, for all those Aaron Judge people who were such strong proponents of his home run hitting when he wasn't winning MVPs.
Sure.
Well, this guy hit more home runs and had more RBIs than Judge did, and now all of a sudden we're talking about his batting average and his on-base percentage. Well, those things didn't matter to you 5 years ago when Shohei was outperforming him, but now it does. It's just, I don't know. Chicken and the egg a little bit.
Elsewhere on what's trending, local college basketball and football. So last night, K-State got a 3-point win over Cal over in Manhattan. KU hosts Princeton tomorrow. Bill Self moments ago said Darren Peterson will not play. That'll be 2 games in a row, missing games against Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and now Princeton. They are saying it is a hamstring injury that is still bothering him. We had the whole is he hurt load management conversation. I still think, in fact, I think even more so now with him missing the Princeton game, I actually think he legit has a hamstring injury. I think there was a stronger case if you would have said that he missed the Corpus Christi game and then he's back for Princeton, that it was load management. I think they are about to enter a stretch of some very tough opponents, and there's no reason to push it. I don't consider that load management. To me, that's smart managing of a basketball player. He's got a hamstring injury. It's November 14th. Why would you push it? So elsewhere, college football, K-State at Okie State tomorrow, 11 a.m. kick right here on 96.5 The Fan. KU is on a bye week. MU takes on Mississippi State, 6:45 kick.
Number 4 we've got on what's trending. Major League Soccer is making a change to their scheduling. They're going to go to the world schedule, which is July to May, beginning in the summer of 2027. Now, I will admit, I'm not the biggest soccer fan on planet Earth. So I will delegate this over to Drew, who can tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so this is something that comes. All the owners, I believe, of the clubs voted on it. It was a vote that was approved. So what I think it does is it opens up the possibility, I think, of bringing in star players during their primes. I think the MLS is a big enough league where also you look at what the money that they bring to the table. I think they would get a Champions League spot. Of course, the caveat: a lot of people are. It seems like it's. People are on both sides of the fence. Weather, problematic during the wintertime, of course. There is an open period from mid-December till late February where there's no soccer at all. Seemingly, you don't want to compete against the NFL playoffs and college football playoff, but I think it's good because it opens up the transfer window naturally for you to get better players in their primes instead of waiting until Messi is at the tail end of his career or Zlatan is at the tail end of his career. I think ultimately it's a good thing for MLS just to get also maybe more international respect from the rest of the world for us not doing things on our own, I guess, seemingly, if you will.
So that was big news out of MLS yesterday. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon, Logan Weber is in for Cody today. We will get to some golden locks and talk about this loaded NFL slate coming up in just a little bit. Also, later on this hour, the random question of the day. And then it is a Friday. So Fan Club Friday at 1 o'clock today. We'll give our game predictions. We'll be joined by Dana Wright from our sister station, KMBZ, of course, from Dana and Parks, and Fan Club presented by Jay Rieger & Co. Today, the cocktail is the Stone Fence cocktail. Yours truly is making it. So good luck. Good luck. I think I'll be fine. This seems pretty simple. Using some Rieger straight rye, some apple cider, some ginger ale. I think we'll make do. But that's the cocktail of the day.
Hey, I'll preface by saying I'm not a huge alcohol drinker, so whether I like it or not, not necessarily a strong indicator against you. Okay. I will say that.
I think you're gonna. I think you'll like it though.
All right.
I do think you'll like it. All right, let's get back into the Chiefs, though, guys. And you can continue to text in where your confidence is at this point, 913-586-7965. Some of the Chiefs' concerns and your confidence check. I told you guys earlier in the show, I'm at about an 8 out of 10 scale of confidence heading into this game, and a lot of it has to do with this spot for Kansas City. You know, these are games, usually we're talking in the playoffs, where it's like, hey, everything's on the line. Andy Reid's at his best. Patrick Mahomes is at his best. Travis Kelce is at his best. I view that the same way for Sunday. they're well aware of their current standing. I understand Andy Reid's never going to come out and say it's a must-win game. Of course not. But they know what's at stake. They know the Broncos have 8 wins. They've got 5 wins. They know the road ahead. They're well aware of what it takes to win this Western Division. They've done it for 9 straight years. And so I expect the best effort and maybe performance of the season from Kansas City. And by the way, if they have that, they are definitely good enough to beat the Denver Broncos. Like this is not even a question of if their A game is also played, can the Chiefs beat them? If they both play their A game, the Chiefs win.
Yeah.
Right? Like, anybody disagree with that? Like, this is one of those where the Chiefs, if the Broncos play their A game and the Chiefs play their C game, yeah, the Chiefs will lose this football game. But if the Chiefs play their A game and the Broncos play their A game, then I believe Kansas City wins this game. And that is all based off of, I just don't think the Broncos' offense is all that great. Their defense is dominant, no doubt. That's why they have 8 wins and all that. But if the Chiefs are able to protect Patrick Mahomes, then I think their offense will be able to move the football. That's the big question on this. And so my confidence is based off of big moments, big spots. These guys raise their game. And that's why it wouldn't surprise me if this is a Travis Kelce game too, just because usually that's when the rapport is at its best in these moments for Kelce and Mahomes.
Yeah, the biggest moments are when the biggest players shine the brightest, and that's what 15 and 87 have done throughout their careers. I am a little bit lower in terms of my confidence level. I would put myself at like a 6.5 right now. Now, a win against Denver probably lets that rise to an 8, especially if it is a game that they win by 2 scores or somehow, some way they win it by 3 scores, and this one's decided before we even get to the fourth quarter. I'm a little bit more hesitant because of, the sense of urgency that you were talking about. That Andy's never going to say it's a must-win game, but we've heard in the press conferences this week, I heard Trent McDuffie on Wednesday said that this Sunday is a massive opportunity for them. And Patrick Mahomes called it a huge game, not only in terms of the division, but what it would do with their playoff chances, whether they win or lose this game. So I see a little bit more of a sense of urgency from this Chiefs team this week that maybe hasn't been as apparent in weeks past. And that's a good sign. But this Broncos team is incredibly talented. And while I believe that the Chiefs have the offensive line talent to stymie that front four, they have 46 sacks this year. They have been absolutely outstanding. And the Chiefs have, let's face it, lost games this year to teams that aren't nearly as talented, right? Can we all agree that the Denver Broncos are a better football team than the Jacksonville Jaguars? I think we can all agree on that.
Yep.
I think that the Denver Broncos are more talented than the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yep.
So this is a really good football team that they are playing against. And it's just going to come down to which version of the Chiefs show up. Is it going to be the version that we saw against the Detroit Lions, or is it going to be the version we saw against Jacksonville or LA or Buffalo?
Yeah, my biggest concern is just protecting Patrick Mahomes in this game. And do they let a defense? By the way, that's going to get theirs at times. Like I will be shocked if the Chiefs get through this game, and I'll gladly be wrong if the Chiefs get through this game and Mahomes is not sacked once. Right? I just would be shocked by that. If that's the case, by the way, the Chiefs are definitively.
Chiefs win this game by at least 2 scores.
If that's the case, so they're going to get theirs. They're very good. You can have your best, and they're still going to get you. All right, that's how good this defense is for Denver. However, you let that happen, all right, you cannot let them take over a football game where your tackles are liabilities, where Mahomes doesn't trust his tackles, where he, of course, is playing backyard football and running for his life. That's the disaster stuff. That's my biggest concern, that's something that the Broncos are able to do. I actually think as much as bigger picture we all know and why we wanted them to go trade for defensive line help, while I'm worried can they get pressure on Bo Nix, I just don't think that flips the game as much. If I had to pick, would I rather the Chiefs get pressure on Bo Nix all game long or the Chiefs protect Mahomes all game long? It's a no-brainer which one I want to pick. It's protecting Mahomes.
100%.
I'll deal with how Spags tries to get creative in coverage and blitz schemes, and it's also an indictment on Bo Nix, right? He's not by any means the best quarterback they have faced this season. They obviously just played Josh Allen. We know what he's capable of. So that's where I'm kind of at. Someone on the text line says Spags is going to suffocate Bo Nix. I hope that's the case. I just don't think that's what they would have to do to win. Does that make sense? Like, if they do get pressure on Bo Nix and they protect Mahomes, well, they're winning this football game. It's not even a question. I think it's way more important for them offensively to protect Mahomes, because if you move the ball on Denver, I don't think their offense is capable for 4 quarters to keep up with you. The question is, as Matt McMullen brought up, and where I would be concerned is, do the Chiefs have the lead going into the fourth quarter? Because this Broncos team, while admittedly some of these numbers I'm about to read off are skewed by their 28 point whatever it was or 33 point fourth quarter comeback against the Giants like 3 or 4 weeks ago, the Broncos have the highest point differential, the highest yardage differential, the best sack differential in the fourth quarter this season. 10 in the sack differential is crazy. Yeah. They're 4-0 in those games in which they trail in the fourth. I'm not saying Mahomes is not capable of a comeback. I mean, we'd be foolish to say that. However, I think you need the lead going into the fourth. You always like it. I think they need it in this spot because for whatever reason, it's that magic that the Chiefs maybe had last year as well. In the fourth quarter, the Broncos flip a switch. They make the key plays. I don't think you want to give the Broncos an opportunity to already have the lead going into that spot because they've been very good.
Yeah, I would say it's the first time, at least for me, since Patrick Mahomes became the starting quarterback of this Chiefs team, that when they go into a game in the fourth quarter and they are trailing or up by one score, I'm not as confident anymore. It's just, I don't really know how to explain that, but it just feels like in the biggest moments of the game, the Chiefs haven't really been the Chiefs this year. Unfortunately, the Broncos have been the Chiefs a little bit this year, and you're exactly right. For no other reason than to try to stymie the front four of the Broncos a little bit, you need a fourth quarter lead. Because if you are trailing heading into the final 15 minutes, or if it's a tie ball game, what have you, there is an immediate thought they're going to try to throw the football. Right, especially if you're trailing in a game, and especially if you have Patrick Mahomes. They're going to throw the football here. They're going to kind of abandon the running game and become a lot more one-dimensional, and that allows for whoever's pressuring the quarterback for Denver to pin your ears back. You don't have to worry about rush lanes to try to slow down the running game or having gap discipline. None of that stuff exists. Get to the quarterback. You try to contain Mahomes within the pocket because he is at his best when he's able to make those off-platform and off-scripted plays, that backyard football that we hear so much about. If you're ahead in that game, whether it be the smallest iota of the game plan thought process for Denver, if the Chiefs are up 7 or up 10 points in that fourth quarter, you can't just assume they're going to throw the football. You can't just assume they're going to run the football. So it allows for you as an offense to kind of dictate the flow of the game a little bit more when you're trailing versus if you're behind that late.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll talk more on the divisional side of things for this game and where the current odds sit in the betting markets, but also some people out there have ran simulations on the outcome Sunday and what it does for the AFC West, percentage-wise, if Kansas City wins, what it does for their chances. Obviously, it increases them, but we'll get into that specifically, and also the random question of the day is coming up. But let's get to it, Drew. We do this each and every Friday.
Just because you love something doesn't mean you're good at it. But Alex Gold and betting on sports? Pretty good. It's time for Golden Locks.
All right, let's get into these. As you guys know, for starters, we have our Circa Million contest entry with a lot of us from the station. Myself, Speck, Rob, Dusty, Cody, Bink. We are on a cold streak as a team for that entry. And now we're once again back to considering, Logan, do we go for the quarterly, what they call booby prize, which is last place for the quarter? We are in quarter 3. We went 1-4 last week as a group. So how it is, we all put in 3 picks, and then majority picks get used. So like if you had a pick that was right, but nobody else picked it, then it doesn't get used, right? Gotcha. So that's how we do it. But we are 1-4 in the quarter, and so there's a thought here, like, unless we go 5-0 this week, I would rather us go 0-5.
Yeah, valid.
Which is what happened all the way back in week 1. And then we got hot. We got all the way into the top 100 in the contest out of 5,500 entries. We are now back to 1,000 now. So we're not doing as well. But I want to give out a couple looks that we had. Last night, by the way, if you listen to that betting show on Wednesday night, we did hit the under on Thursday Night Football, barely, but we hit it. Doesn't matter. 43.5. Also, depending on the number, the Jets covered if you got it at 13.5. If you got it at 12.5, you missed it by a half point. But a couple games that I like, and then I'll get to some bets inside the Chiefs game and see where you're at on these, Logan, as well. I like the Giants to cover the 7 against Green Bay. Mike Kafka is obviously the interim head coach now. Jameis Winston gets the nod. I actually like that quite a bit. The Packers have just not been all that impressive. When Josh Jacobs is not going, they have struggled. I think there's an opportunity for the Giants to hang there. I don't think they get the outright win and upset in that regard, but I get 7 points I'll take that for the Giants. And then I like Detroit Sunday Night Football plus 2.5 at Philly. I get 2.5 points here. We know Philadelphia just keeps finding ways to win as well. They're not impressive, though, when they do it. The Lions are actually better in DVOA in every category, phase, I should say, offense, defense, special teams, than the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think Detroit maybe wins this game outright, but I definitely like them plus the 2.5. Then a couple Chiefs-specific bets. How about a first quarter bet? So the Broncos have allowed an opening drive score, not necessarily a touchdown, but a score in 6 of their last 10 games. Now, if the Chiefs win the coin toss, they're going to defer. We know that. And for whatever reason, they win a lot of these coin tosses. It's one of the bizarre. It's one of the more bizarre things. The first team to score bet is live this week, and also the Chiefs to win the first quarter. Even money. I like that. It's one of my favorite bets. The Chiefs to win the first quarter, plus 100 at FanDuel right now. A lot of that is, one, the Broncos' offensive struggles, but if the Chiefs do get the ball first, their first 15 scripted against a defense, while they're great, for whatever reason, opening drives, teams have moved the ball, field goals or touchdowns. So that's one of my favorite bets for the Chiefs game.
I like that. I like the Chiefs' first drive score. I like the Lions at that plus 2.5 that you mentioned. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are coming off of their best game as a duo so far this year. And yeah, the Eagles find ways to win games, but I have said time and time again, I think the Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFC, and I will continue to stand by that as their defense gets healthier and healthier. Saquon Barkley has been borderline ineffective after the year he had last season. Jalen Hurts has been fantastic in the second half of games, but if they get down big early against this Detroit Lions team, feels like it might be too little too late. I'm kind of hesitant on the Giants at that -7 or +7 that you mentioned.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't. I still have belief in Jordan Love. I do. And he was atrocious against Philly. This Giants defense is not quite the same thing. I do agree with you on them being able to stymie Josh Jacobs a little bit, because that defensive front for the Giants is the strength not only of their defense, but of their football team. That defensive front is. So I kind of lean towards Jordan Love being able to have kind of a bounce back game and get people back onto his bandwagon as one of the better quarterbacks in this league. I would probably say I lean towards Green Bay to actually cover in that game rather than the Giants.
Definitely possible. One other game I like the Niners -3 at Arizona. Brock Purdy's back, finally. We were just talking about him earlier in the week. Also, Ricky Pearsall is back. I think they can roll against the Arizona Cardinals. Those are some golden locks heading into Sunday. I'm laughing at this text because, again, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but it's just funny. Someone says, the Chiefs will not get the ball first. How can you guarantee? I can't guarantee they won't, but I love how definitive they will not get the ball first. You're guaranteeing that the Chiefs are losing the coin toss then? Is that what you're saying? Or winning, I'm sorry, because the Chiefs will defer. If the Chiefs lose the coin toss, do we think the Broncos are deferring? Or do you think the Broncos trying to change it up?
I think they'll defer.
But nobody can guarantee the coin toss. That's just funny.
That's all anybody does anymore.
Guaranteeing, I guarantee you they're not getting the ball first.
Nate does it's one of my favorite tweets of the week when the Chiefs play is Nate's like, the Chiefs have won the toss. You know what happened next.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody does. Everybody defers nowadays.
You absolutely should. So we'll see. I guess now I'll have to keep an eye on the coin toss even more than I was planning on as well. It's a loaded NFL slate, though, guys.
It is.
I know we're focused on the Chiefs here, but this NFL slate's one of the best of the entire season. I think it is the best. Now teams are established, key divisional games, Chiefs-Broncos, Seattle, and unfortunately that game against the Rams is on at the same time as the Chiefs game. It's at 3:06, so I guess you can watch a drive maybe before the Chiefs game. But, I mean, think about even in the noon slate. So I actually think Chicago-Minnesota is a really good game in this spot. You get a game between the Chargers and Jags. I'm sure a lot of Kansas City is going to be focusing on that one. The Chargers are 3-point favorites there. Cincy and Pittsburgh, you got a chance for Pittsburgh to bury Cincinnati and be done with that. You also have Tampa and Buffalo. The Bills, you see their stretch they're on, so they just lost and got upset against Miami. They get the Bucs this week. I'm not saying they're going to lose, but they could. Then they turn around on Thursday, short week, and play Houston. It is not impossible for them to lose 3 in a row.
No, it isn't.
Or 2 or 3.
I mean, you were talking about bets. I've got Baker Mayfield over 217.5 passing yards in this game. I like the connection he's got with Emeka Egbuka. I lean towards Cade Otton having a pretty good day in Tampa. I don't know if they'll outright win this football game, but Buffalo's going to have to answer some questions in this game on Sunday after a complete embarrassment of a loss against Miami. And then the Texans, who is their record indicative of team success? Not necessarily, but CJ Stroud's probably going to be back by then. He was playing better football before the concussion. And quietly, the Houston Texans had the number 1 defense in the National Football League. I feel like that's not really being discussed at all right now, is that Houston has, statistically, by most metrics, the best defense in the NFL.
Davis Mills will start this Sunday against Tennessee, but you're obviously talking about next Thursday, Texans, Bills. By then, maybe CJ Stroud is out of concussion protocol. All right, up next, we get right back into the Chiefs, talk a little bit about the AFC West, what is on the line there, what some of the trends tell us, plus the random question of the day right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
FanDuel Fridays, turning it up with NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boost, bonuses, surprises, all designed to bring that Friday energy. This is not just another promo, it's your weekly pregame. NBA Happy Hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to grab your reward before the clock expires. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas, opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration. Leg requirements in max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in-store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Imagine this. It's Thanksgiving Day, and instead of juggling pots and pans, you're actually enjoying it. Hy-Vee's got your holiday covered with convenient pre-made meal packs for any size gathering. Fresh, ready-to-heat favorites like juicy turkey, honey glazed ham, or prime rib, plus all the classic sides, rolls, and desserts. And don't forget to swing by the wine and spirits department to make it a feast to remember. Pick up your meal the day before, heat it up, and serve it like you cooked all day. This Thanksgiving, let Hy-Vee do the cooking. You get the credit, only at Hy-Vee.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu, the daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
J. Rieger & Co. Oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City. J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Random question of the day coming up in about 8 minutes or so. It's Cody and Gold on a Red Friday, getting closer to kickoff. Chiefs Broncos 3:25 right here on 96.5 The Fan. Alex Gold with you. Drew Nixon producing the show. Logan Weber, he's filling in for Cody today and on Monday. Cody is back next Wednesday. At that point in time, we'll be all in on Indianapolis at that point in time. Two massive games, of course, back to back. We're 30 minutes away from a Fan Club Friday presented by J. Rieger & Co. And today, the Stone Fence cocktail is the drink of choice. Dana Wright going to be joining us in the studio. We'll, of course, get to game predictions. Also, earlier today, former Broncos safety Nick Ferguson joined us. So you'll hear some of that Broncos perspective coming up in the 1 o'clock hour as well. But I teased this before the break. I mentioned, look, we all know what's at stake divisionally, but I wanted to dive deeper into it. And it's why, and it sounded like maybe Matt McMullen disagreed a little bit. He had some good examples of some other big-time games. But I do think this is the biggest game in the Mahomes era because they are in a spot where it's not just trying to make sure you're alive in the division. It's also the reality of going to 5-5 and dropping down, and you're already the 8 seed, but then you don't make up any ground on Jacksonville, and you're talking about, hey, what's the path to just make the playoffs, knowing the Colts are on the rise? They have had games to clinch a number 1 seed before. Okay, at the time, that was a huge game. Later on this year, if there's the Broncos game on Christmas Day and the Chiefs win on Sunday, that might end up being the biggest game of Mahomes' career. But like this one has not just the reward element to it. This one has serious risk element involved. And so that's why I think it's the biggest of his career regular season-wise. Now, odds will tell you the Broncos plus 125 to win the West, the Chiefs plus 155. But more interesting than that is the repercussions of what the simulations show if you look at a win. So the Chiefs, if they win Sunday, they go to a 51% chance to win the AFC West. Denver drops to 37%, so the Chiefs become favorites. I don't know if the books will reflect that, but this is Warren Sharp's simulation. The Chargers 11%, and then as you would expect, if Denver wins, the Chiefs drop all the way down to 9% chance. The Chargers even drop down to 9%, and then the Broncos are sitting at an 82% chance to win the division. Those are numbers to back up what I think we all recognize already. We know is reality. The Broncos win, they're probably winning this division. The Broncos win, the Chiefs are not winning the West. If the Chiefs win, then they got a really good chance all of a sudden to win the West. That's why it's just so meaningful and so impactful Sunday.
You win Sunday, and it becomes apparent that you still control your own destiny in the AFC West. You still have another matchup against the Broncos. You still have another matchup against the Chargers to be able to, first of all, get a little bit of a get back on LA and also get the season sweep over Denver. So if it ends up being the Chiefs at 11-6 or 12-5 and the Broncos have the same record, you won both games. You've got the season sweep. You are the AFC West division champion. You know, Matt and I actually agreed. He brought up the same example I did of what a game that you could compare this one to, and it was that 2021 Week 10 matchup against the Raiders. And I agree with him. It's about the closest thing you can compare it to. Chiefs were 5-4. Raiders were 5-3. A win for Vegas would have made them a 6-3 football team. Chiefs would have fallen to 5-5. All of a sudden, you're a game and a half back in your own division. This is not that. This is an even bigger separation if you lose this game. The Broncos, if they win, go to 9-2, and you're 5-5. So the disparity there is even wider than it would have been had they lost to the Raiders a couple of years ago. And did they lose to the Raiders? No, they killed them, beat them 41-14, and it was a boat race from there in the AFC West. But again, it's just that I believe the division is better than it's maybe ever been under Patrick Mahomes. And that's evident by the fact that you've got the Broncos at the head at 8-2. The Chargers are sitting there at 6-3, 7-3, whatever their record is at the moment. Yeah. And the Chiefs, sitting at 5-4. This division has little room for error now compared to where it was 3 or 4 years ago, which I think adds added pressure to it. It makes me agree with you. I think this is the biggest regular season game probably in the Mahomes era.
So this is a divisional, swing, but I also wonder, on the negative side, you would say, all right, this is the first step. If you're someone that's a Broncos fan, if you're someone that's frankly an NFL fan that doesn't like Kansas City and their dominance, you're saying, all right, this is the most recent opportunity now to knock the Chiefs down a peg, which would be eliminate them from the division. And then let's say the Chiefs still make the playoffs, and I think they still would, by the way, but it would get dicey. They make the playoffs. Then there's the other part of it, which is, all right, well, okay, they didn't win the division, but who's going to knock them down and end their run in the playoffs? And so it's this year, this game could be the start of something, which is the end, which is what people have been predicting going back to the offseason, or Sunday's just reinforcing, no, the Chiefs are still here and look out in the playoffs. But there's two levels to this. There's the sign that the divisional run is over, and then there's still going to be, even if the Chiefs were to lose Sunday, there will still be me and others, I think, that would say, what is the run over in terms of the championships, which would be, all right, they lose the division, but if they still go in an AFC title game again and win, then who cares almost, right? But is there a chance that two layers of that, are they all coming crashing down this season?
I lean towards maybe the division one kind of crashing down just because of this influx of talent that has made its way into the AFC West. And I'm not just talking about players, I'm talking about coaches, right? With Denver hiring Sean Payton and bringing him into this system, with the Chargers getting Jim Harbaugh, the coaching in this division is as good as it has ever been, at least in the time period that Andy Reid has been in Kansas City. And the quarterback play is better. Bo Nix is the best quarterback the Broncos have had since Peyton Manning, without question. Yeah. And Justin Herbert, I'm not as big of a hater of Justin Herbert as a lot of people are. He might end up being the best Chargers quarterback ever. I mean, that's where we're sitting at right now. Now, the Raiders are a dumpster fire. Pete Carroll hasn't quite figured that one out yet. We'll see if he ever does. But the division thing could definitely be toppling down, especially with a loss on Sunday. I feel like the tower will have fallen.
The division's over on Sunday if they lose. Yeah.
For my money, I'm not going to start talking about the Chiefs' playoff success run being over until somebody does it.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Somebody's got to show me that you can do it. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Drake May, whoever it is, you got to show me that somebody in this conference can beat Patrick Mahomes in a wild card or a divisional round game. Because until it happens, I'm not going to believe you. And I'm sorry, even if the Chiefs don't win the division, if they get the 6 seed or the 7 seed and they got to go on the road to Indianapolis and play in a dome against the Colts,
they'll probably be favorites in that game, depending, I guess, on what happens next week. If the Chiefs, the Chiefs are playing the Colts next week as well. But and for the most part, if they were healthy, I think the Chiefs would be favorites. And
give me 15 all day in that game.
Most of those games. They got to get there, though. Sunday certainly would, I think, calm the waters on that in a big, big way. They right now are, it's something, I think we were looking this up when I was on with Fesco and Dusty on Thursday morning, so I guess that was yesterday. And we were looking at just the odds to make and miss the playoffs. If you're someone that's just like, pessimistic as heck, and you think it's all ending, to miss the playoffs, if you're one, these are just a couple of the fringe playoff teams in the NFL right now. The Chiefs are not currently in the field. They're 4-1. If you think they're not making the playoffs, you can get them at 4-1 odds right now. If you think, for example, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who we know the Chiefs are kind of competing with for the final playoff spot potentially, are not going to make the playoffs, they're minus 168 to miss the playoffs. Now, on the flip side, to make the playoffs, the Chiefs are still minus 590. We know the Chiefs are still Super Bowl favorites. We know they are still favorites to win the AFC. That's why when you see them as 3.5-point favorites even on Sunday against the Broncos, it's more about the Chiefs and the belief there than it is even, I think, people dismissing the Broncos. It's just that the Chiefs, they've been in these spots before, maybe more so playoff time, but usually this is when they're at their best. So we'll give our official predictions in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll take your predictions as well. If someone says to you, Brock Osweiler would like a word on your comp of the best quarterback. That's a joke, right? That's a troll text. That's a troll text. There's no way.
What's next? You're going to throw out Trevor Simeon's name?
Remember Paxton Lynch when people were worried the Broncos drafted him because there was rumors the Chiefs wanted to draft Paxton Lynch. Thank goodness they didn't, because they wouldn't have drafted Patrick Mahomes probably, because I think that was the year before, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So that would have damaged any path of Mahomes. But people, I'll be honest, I think I was one of the few people too that thought Paxton Lynch was going to be good, man.
Fresh out of Memphis, 6'7" or whatever he was.
I thought Paxton Lynch was going to be good.
John Elway,
Trevor Simeon,
massive quarterbacks that he kept drafting.
Never saw the Trevor Simeon stuff. I didn't.
He
get
played
that at
Northwestern.
all.
Yeah, probably not.
I never saw the Trevor Simeon.
Shout out the Wildcats, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Someone says, "What are the odds you can get on?" Let's see, odds you can get
all
betting
three?
KC, Buffalo, and Baltimore miss playoffs. We did that exercise with Fesco and Dusty. Here, I'll pull it up again. So Baltimore to miss, Kansas City to miss, and then who was the other one? They said Buffalo.
Buffalo,
which is crazy to think, right? Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo all missing. $100 bet would pay out $15,553.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Is there a chance one of them miss? Yeah. All three, I would argue the three best quarterbacks in the AFC, obviously. All three of them are not going to make it. I
would argue the three best quarterbacks in football.
Bills, Chiefs, and who?
Yeah,
the Ravens?
Probably, yeah. Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens to miss the playoffs. Parlay it together.
Yeah, $100 on FanDuel will win you $15,500.
Goodness.
Yep.
Because it's never going to happen.
It's not.
Well,
all three, not happening.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Someone was going back to our quarterback conference. They said people thought Casey were going to take Manziel. Yeah, a lot of people were upset Johnny Manziel wasn't a Chief. That would have been a wild run as well.
I was a big Johnny Manziel guy.
Were you?
When he was at A&M. I loved
who
watching that
kind of was.
That was back when was Andy coaching the Chiefs at that time? Yes.
Yeah, that was what, the 2014 draft? 2015 draft?
Yeah.
That was Johnny Manziel?
So was it right before then? Or was it?
Well, no, you're asking about Andy. Andy's been the head coach, obviously, since 2012.
2012. Okay.
But no, who didn't like watching Manziel play? I mean,
he and Baker.
Well,
yeah, he and Baker sort of had the same vibes in college of
football.
Like, I'm better than you. I know I'm better than you, and I'm going to let you know that I'm better than you. I love the trash talking. It's my favorite thing about sports.
Someone asked this question on the text line. I think this is obvious, but maybe it's closer than I think. Someone said, since 2000, whose QB stack up better, Broncos or Chiefs? I think it's the Chiefs just because of Mahomes. I understand it's not even close.
Yeah.
Because Peyton Manning, while he's obviously a 5-time MVP award winner and a Hall of Famer, he was not good in Denver his last year. He was terrible. He was carried by the defense. You're talking about just Manning's time in Denver. It was not the same level as Hall of Fame Manning. So then I get Mahomes, who still has more time, but already is won 3 rings. It's the Chiefs. Just like, it's over. It doesn't even matter comparing the Tyler Palkos and Thigpens to the Kyle Orton's and whoever else. That doesn't even matter. Mahomes ends the conversation.
What if you took out, though, Peyton and Mahomes?
What a disgusting conversation.
Still somewhat lean Chiefs.
I was going to say, I still
Matt
lean
Castle versus, who was that?
Alex Smith, yeah, I think
Now
that's still.
that adds in Jake Delhomme and Jake Plummer, I think, right?
Yeah, it's like I haven't heard Trent Green or Alex Smith's name thrown.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs still would win that conversation.
I still think I still lean Chiefs.
Look, there is a reason the Chiefs for a decade have owned the Broncos. And Mahomes hasn't been part of all of those, right? Alex Smith was part of that as well.
Correct. He's Mahomes himself is 17-2 against Denver in his career, something like that.
16-1, 17-2.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. It's one of those.
I guess technically last year's Week 18 game does not count.
Yeah, it was not him.
16-1.
That was one Carson Wentz. We are 15 minutes away from a Fan Club Friday presented by Jay Rieger & Co. The Stone Fence cocktail is the drink of the day. Someone said, Thigpen. Kyle Orton double dipping. Yeah, that's true. He accounts for both. He does account for the Chiefs and the Broncos. All right, let's get to it.
Random question.
Random question of the day brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. I got a good one for you guys today. Text line 913-586. 7965.
Guaranteed that it's good.
It is good. Let me start with the beginning of the survey, and that's the question will not be the question they ask. It'll be the second part. I'll explain. Well, there was a survey by Live Nation. Now, it's important to note, Live Nation, as you guys know, they're concert venue. They own a bunch of concert venues, and they handle ticketing and all that. So that's the theme of the people that were answering these questions. You have to understand they were already on a Live Nation mailing list. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, here you go. So they did a survey. Over 40,000 people were asked this question by Live Nation. And it was, would you rather go to a concert or have sex?
Straight up.
70% chose going to a live gig over having sex with somebody. So that's just crazy in its own right. But then the question I want to ask you, I guess you can answer that one too if you want, is more of these, which is if you only had one option the rest of your life, would you rather go to a live music venue, movie theater, or sporting events? 39% said live music, 17% said cinema, 14% said sporting events. Now you know my answer. It's easy. If I could only go to a concert, a movie theater, or a sporting event, it's not even close for me. The sporting event is the answer. End of story. But where are you guys at? And what do you make of the first question, Logan?
It's a sporting event. I am going to go ahead and refrain from answering. I'm gonna assert my Fifth Amendment rights and answer on the first question.
There's only one answer. The answer is
sex. It's obviously sex.
Right, we don't have to beat around the bush here.
No,
come on.
I don't know. My wife might end up hitting me for it later, but we'll see. No, I'm with you. Sporting events.
I'm thinking her answer would be that. I hope as well.
Yeah,
I would hope that's her answer too, Logan.
Yeah, you're right. It's got to be sporting events. I'm sorry. Like, you're telling me that I can still have Spotify on my phone and I can still watch movies at home? Yeah, I'm going to a sporting event. I would rather do that any time of the day. Sporting events and as much as I love going to a movie theater, I'm not huge on like concerts. It's not really something that I do. Yeah, and this is a completely biased strand of questions from Live Nation, who is one of the largest concert promoters on the planet.
Yeah.
There seems to be some bias. I am surprised, though, that
70% said.
Yeah, you're
that's
out of your
crazy.
mind.
I am more surprised, though, that people said movie theater than sporting event. I'm very surprised at that.
To Logan's point, it's the demographic of the people that were answering the question, or given the question.
Right. Yeah, of course. And if you went to a Chiefs game, of course it's going to be majority.
Now I'll admit,
sporting events.
I'll admit though, this was the Live Nation audience. If this question was given to Cincinnati Bengals fans, they might actually not choose sporting events because who wants to go see that crap again?
I do think so. For concerts, I am. If I really, really like the artist, like I have to really, really like you to go to a concert. If I'm a fan and I listen to some music, like that's not enough for me to go to a concert. Where, if it's, I feel like I'm more likely to go to a sporting event in general than I am a concert. But certainly more a concert than a movie theater. I think just if I'm not necessarily for the cost, but just the experience. I'd rather go experience a concert than go to a movie theater to see a movie.
I'm with you there. And movies you can watch at home.
Exactly.
Now, someone made a good point. They said for them, they'd rather go to concerts for the same reason we said about movies with sports, saying I can watch sports on TV.
That's fair.
Still, movies you can watch at home. The point works for sports too. I just think the atmosphere, there's still nothing like going to a sporting event and the experience you get there. While the viewing experience at home is better than it ever has been, I still think there's nothing like going to a Chiefs game at Arrowhead. As great as it is to sit there at home and on your couch and get up from the couch whenever you want and not have a line at the bathroom and all, I understand. But I do think the movie part is the most surprising of the bunch. Like, I mean, a lot of movies are going straight to a lot of better content's right on Netflix and stuff immediately anyway.
I mean, I like going to the movie theater. I like the feeling and the vibe inside a movie theater, but you're exactly right. Like, hey, I have a HD TV in my living room that the TV looks just fine on. I mean, the same thing can be said for a sporting event too, but I don't know. Concerts can be very hit or miss, with like opening acts and things like that. And you may love the artist, but you may not like every song the artist has in their repertoire. So how many of the songs are you actually enjoying? And I'll tell you one thing, you will not catch me dead in like a mosh pit setting or like down standing for a 3-hour concert. I'm sorry. If I'm going to a concert, I need somewhere to park my behind because I want to sit.
I'm excited. Like, we all know next year, the Morton, they just named the naming right, the Morton Amphitheater there in Riverside is opening up, and they already named a couple of the big acts that are going to be there. Like, I'm excited to go see a concert there. I think is that a Live Nation venue?
I think it is.
I think it is.
Maybe. I don't want to. I do think it is interesting though, like because for a concert, pretty much the set list that they're going to have. Like, let's say it's your favorite artist or it's the Kansas City Chiefs. The set list is going to be great. There's technically no guarantee that the Chiefs play their best game. So ultimately, you might decide, man, I probably might have rather have gone to the concert.
Isn't that part of the fun, though? Like the stress that you have not knowing if your team's going to win? Isn't that part of the experience? You're nervous.
Agree. I agree with that, but I think the case for a concert could be made in the fact that you might realize that you actually wasted your time. Not wasted your time, but it could have been better spent getting a once-of-a-lifetime experience seeing your favorite artist than seeing your favorite team get beat and the game wasn't very good.
That's
for
fair.
The same price point.
I could argue that not every concert is going to be A1 either. I have been to concerts where I loved the artist in terms of their discography on Spotify or whatever, and then I went and saw them in a concert in person, and it was like
they didn't perform as great as you were expecting.
The auto-tune must have been outrageous in the studio.
913-586-7965. Someone said, "What are you, 80, Logan? I'm 61. Give me the mosh pit."
No,
all day.
No chance.
Someone else did say, "How about you can double dip sex at the concert? That takes care of everybody." No. Someone said, "Significantly longer gratification for a concert versus the sex," and so that's why they would answer that way as well. They also said they've never been pissed off leaving a concert. Ooh, is that? I don't know. I'm glad you haven't. I think there's people that have been in a bad mood leaving a concert.
I've never been in a bad mood. Granted, I am not a big concert goer, so very few and far between. Like people who I've seen live. Typically, I'm taking. Yeah, I like the performers I see, and it's an experience I enjoy. Yeah.
Someone was asking about the cost. I wasn't answering this based on cost at all. Like, obviously, sporting events are more money than going to a movie. Duh. Concerts can be as well, or are. I was basically more just strictly off of the experience. Not like if we get into like the semantics of I do this because of the cost. Well, then that's a whole different conversation.
Right. Who have you guys seen in concert? I've
Not
got a
that
list
many.
I've got like 5.
People give me a hard time on the text line.
I've been to 5 concerts in my life. That's it.
Yeah, I've been to 4.
So we're a bad example here because none of us have gone to that many concerts. Cody's gone to a ton. I know we've had these conversations before. Their text line gives me a hard time because I've seen Train at a concert before.
I saw Train one time.
It was a good concert, by the way.
It was in St. Louis. It was a 4th of July performance, and they were just the band.
That's crazy.
I've seen Train. Let's see. Most of these are actually fairly recent. Not Train's older, but Luke Combs, Kane Brown. I saw Chance the Rapper when he was like at it like right before he won all the Grammys.
Yeah,
he's obviously since fallen off. And then Jay-Z and Beyonce. I think those are the only big time concerts I've gone to.
I'd say two country concerts, 2 rap concerts. There
How
you
about
go.
that? How about that?
Little split. It's an even split. I've seen Train. I was 10. This was 2008. So this was before like Marry Me and Hey Soul Sister. They performed Drops of Jupiter 9 times. was a
like Natasha Bedingfield opening up for them.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour set, and they did Drops of Jupiter 9 times. And not to mention, it had rained all day, so like the humidity, the fog was bad. They shot off the fireworks, and then Train performed. You couldn't see them through the smog because of how foggy it was, mixed with the smoke of the fireworks. It was not great. Most recently, I actually went and saw Dan and Shay in concert.
Okay.
Mostly because my favorite artist, Ben Rector, was one of the opening acts. And so we went to the Dan and Shay concert more or less to see Ben Rector. But Dan and Shay put on a really, really good show. They were phenomenal.
I've never been to a country concert before.
Okay, we got to change that this year.
So the concerts that I've been to, Logic is my favorite rapper. I've been to 2 different concerts. I have seen G-Eazy open for him as well.
Are yours all rap?
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen
it. Doesn't surprise me.
I saw Kanye live, which was a dope experience because the way that he did the concert was wild. He did it on an elevated stage, and the stage moved around the field house in Indy.
Does someone say, Gold, I thought you saw Shine Down. That's true. That was an acoustic concert. Very cool, actually, at Jay Rieger in their Electric Park. There was only maybe 100 people there. Does that count? It was like a very private.
Yeah, 100%.
They played like 4 songs. They played like 4 songs. And then what about the halftime performances? Does that count?
No.
Okay, because if so, then I can add Rihanna, I can add Nelly, not Nelly, Usher.
Super Bowl halftime, I think, does count, actually.
Okay, well, then I guess more. Add Shakira into that as well.
Yeah, there you go.
I guess we can add a few more to that. All right, that is the random question of the day. Up next, it's a Fan Club Friday. We'll get to some game predictions. We'll have some cocktails. Dana Wright's going to join us. We have to ask her this exact same question as well. That's next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Creed Humphrey. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for Dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these great game day specials. 8 wings and a basket of tots for $12 plus $4 domestic OP cups. The other place, the next best thing to being at the game. FanDuel Friday is turning it up with an NBA happy hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boost, bonus, surprises, all designed to give you that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo. It's your weekly pregame NBA happy hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. So visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to grab your reward before the clock expires. Celebrate the beginning of the NBA season in style. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning, and you too can be so much more.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour. March 26th, T-Mobile Center. The lights go down one final time. Tickets are on sale now at journeymusic.com. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male. Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, and Oysters. Located in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Wildcat fans, this is Wyatt Thompson. Tune in all season long to the play-by-play of the 2025 football season, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. Welcome into the Fan Club.
Step 1, we buy into this club. Step 2, we roll over to the club, either in your Mercedes-Benz or my pre-owned Acura Legend.
It's not as much as a club as it is a couple middle-aged dudes in sweatshirts talking about sports.
Bounce, 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 bounce. Now all the ladies saying bounce, 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 bounce.
But you get the gist. Here's Cody Tapp and Alex Gold.
It is a Fan Club Friday on a Red Friday. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon, Logan Weber with you. We are expecting our guest, Dana Wright, to be stopping by at some point in the hour as well. Hopefully this segment. Fan Club Fridays brought to you by Jay Rieger & Co. I was telling you guys, the cocktail of the day is the Stone Fence cocktail. If you're thinking about something to maybe sit on the patio tonight, look, it's a beautiful day in Kansas City, and so great patio weather, maybe even a little bit later on tonight when it's chilly, but you get the sweatshirt on and some jeans and you just kind of hang out. We give Cody a hard time, one of his 5 decks maybe, and we'll check in. Maybe there's a chance we're going to try to call him in like 45 minutes or so to check in, get his game prediction, but also find out. Bink called him soft yesterday. Dana Hughes essentially did the same thing. So we'll give Cody a chance, and he'll be back on Wednesday. But if you're wondering, the Stone Fence, so it's 2 ounces of the Rieger Straight Rye. If you're watching on the video stream, you guys know, obviously, the great products from Jay Rieger & Co. and some of the cocktails we've been making. This month is all about the Straight Rye whiskey. And also you use a little apple cider, some ginger ale, and all of a sudden you've got your Stone Fence cocktail. So that is the drink of the day here during Fan Club Friday.
I'm not the biggest whiskey guy on the planet, but it is one of a few liquors that I will actually drink with any relative consistency. I'm not a huge ginger ale person either, but I like the mixture with the apple cider. When
it's mixed, the ginger ale.
You can't even really taste the ginger ale because that apple cider is so dominant as a flavor in it. I kind of like it.
So Dana Wright, we'll ask her the random question of the day that we had when she comes in studio. Also, I was told, I truly do not know the backstory. I think I might have came across it on Facebook, but Drew 2 days ago said, I asked Dana if she will come in studio. And Drew goes, yeah, she's going to come on and she's going to tell you that she almost died this week. I was like, excuse me?
That's what I said when she told me that.
Like, I need more backstory. So that's also why we want Dana Wright in studio. I need to know, what did she mean? She says she almost died this week. Now, that's a pretty bold thing to say. And I'm glad, obviously, she's doing all right. I need to know a little bit more about the story.
Yeah, not I almost got hurt this week or I almost got maimed this week. I almost died, which is drastic, to be honest.
I would say so. I would say so. But we'll hopefully have her join us here in just a little bit. Also, if the timing works out with her and everything, we will have our conversation we had earlier with Nick Ferguson, former Broncos safety. He gave us kind of the Denver perspective on how are they feeling. Also, where are they vulnerable? I think we've talked where the Chiefs are vulnerable. I think we all know. Is there a chance their O-line's vulnerable? Is there a chance that the Chiefs, you can't get pressure? Is there a chance that in a run game the Chiefs are vulnerable? All those things. But what about on the flip side? Where can Denver be attacked a little bit? Defensively even. As great as their defense is there an area? And Nick Ferguson kind of told us some shots down the field, which I thought was interesting because that's an area where the Chiefs, other than with Tyquan Thornton, have not been able to connect.
Yeah, I look at, it's obviously the chances for the Chiefs offense to have their greatest chances of success has got to be with that back seven. You look at no PS2 in this game. Surtain's not going to play, so that puts a lot more pressure on Riley Moss to be cornerback 1 in this defense, which is not really something I believe he's built for, as much as I love him as an Iowa guy. I look at, putting in Chris Abrams-Drain as that cornerback 2, a rookie with a little bit of experience. He's only got 19 total tackles this year. So what is a game again where he's got to go a full 4 quarters against a really as talented a wide receiver core as you're going to see. Talanoa Hufanga is an absolute dog. They use him all over the field. I'm interested to see how the linebackers match up in this football game because, of course, no Alex Singleton with the cancer scare thing and the surgery that he had, so he's not going to play. And then you look at the other guys on this offensive line, linebacker unit, trying to go one-on-one with Travis Kelce or go one-on-one with a Rashee Rice or a Noah Gray or a Hollywood Brown out of the slot. I think the Chiefs could have some success in the middle of the field with a little bit more of an athletic advantage over this Broncos linebacker group.
I was told Dana Wright will not be joining us. Hopefully everything's all right. I'm laughing on the way Drew told me, but she will not be joining us, I guess, for Fan Club Friday.
Right.
So hope everything's all right. But there goes that.
Yeah.
There goes that.
Well, she's going to miss out on this journey.
I mean, that's a hell of a tease. She goes from earlier in the week telling us, I almost died. I have to tell you the story to she's not going to make it in, and we have no idea why. That's a hell of a. I mean, that's
hopefully
quite the cliffhanger.
Yeah,
there.
Hopefully these are not connected issues.
Yeah,
agreed.
That's. I mean, she has a show at 2:00 today on the other station, on KMBZ, our sister station. Is she doing her show today?
As far as I'm not going to comment on
silence
anything.
was deafening.
I know. I'm like, what?
I will not comment on anything. I have no idea. I assume yes, but I don't know.
Oh, I'm going to give her so much crap. Between the incident from 3 weeks ago, when she came barging in at the end of Fan Club and did what she did, to then now, she owes us big time. She owes this show big time at this point.
Unreal.
Someone said a carbon monoxide scare at her house. That was the story from earlier in the week. That explains a lot, actually, because I was wondering the post she had on her Facebook earlier in the week.
She said she said if you haven't seen my Facebook post, that explains it, I think.
Okay, so that was the whole deal. Okay, she's having more of the do you by the way, real quick, do you own a home?
Correct.
Do you have?
Yes.
You do have the CO2 detectors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have 2 smoke alarms and 1 carbon monoxide alarm in our house.
That's good.
We should. There's a place for a second one down in the basement. We just haven't installed
Probably should
it yet.
get that.
Yeah, valid point.
Okay, I'm glad. Hopefully everything's all right with Dana Wright, but we will not have a guest today for Fan Club Friday. We've had some. Look, a lot of it's been warranted. We've had some bad luck with 1 o'clock hour guests this week, haven't we, Drew? We've had 3 cancellations in the 1 o'clock hour this week.
It's been
We've
rough.
had 3 different cancellations.
Everybody's locked in for the Broncos, or they're locked in for the Broncos.
I know they're all valid reasons, but it is weird how it's 3 times this week in the 1 o'clock hour. You know, it's live radio. You pivot, you move on. Nick Ferguson, you'll hear our conversation.
Are we
with
sure
him
Cody's going to answer
coming
the
up at
phone?
1:30.
You know,
that's wow. No, we're not sure. Does he know we're calling him later?
I have not texted him
Don't
yet.
text him. Don't text him. No, I want a live, instant, maybe still on paid
You
med
want me to
reaction.
straight up call him when we call him.
Normally we're not allowed to make a live phone call without the person's permission. He works here. He's on this show. I'm not worried about it.
I'm going to straight up call him.
I want you calling him live on the air at 1:50. Okay. Normally that's a no-no. We're not allowed to do that.
All right.
But he works here. Come on. He works here.
Well, yeah,
fair.
of course.
And it's his show as well, you know?
I think he will have been off the drugs, I guess, for recovery.
I'm guessing
there's no other way I could say.
I'm guessing he's still on pain meds.
Yeah, but I'm talking like high as a kite type of like.
Oh, well,
like,
he's not. He didn't just have surgery, but I don't know. Did they give him the good stuff? I know. I doubt they just said pop it a leave for the rest of the week. My guess is.
I agree with
my
that.
guess is he's on some good stuff.
I agree with that.
So we'll see. We'll call Cody. He'll be part of our game predictions later on. Now people are going back and forth with Drew about Drake over and over. Drew's a big fan of Drake.
I like
Big
Drake
fan.
more than most people. I do think the beef was a little bit closer than it made it seem. Anyways.
No.
You said no on Drake?
I think Kendrick killed him.
Well, that
In
is
fairness,
true.
some of the things that
is
Drake
true.
allegated have come up to be true in recent.
What about the stuff
in the
that
last couple of
Kendrick
weeks?
alleged?
Not so much true, which I think that's part of why there's a lot of allegations thrown out. Kendrick had the best song, of course, but if we're talking allegations straight up, Drake is maybe winning the score right now.
You lost the court battle.
Well, yes.
Someone says it doesn't last 3 days. Well, the pain meds, there's a chance that the pain meds are prescribed for more than 3 days. What are you talking about? I'm not saying he's got the high from the actual surgery still.
That was what I was joking about. Is
that's
he still,
over immediately.
quote, unquote,
I'm saying
recovering
if
from
he's on some good pain meds, he could still be, not completely clear through the mind.
Let's go. I hope that's the case because I think it'd be.
People are giving you a hard time. He meant alleged in allegations. We knew what he meant.
I'm sorry. Yes,
You did invent a new word, I think, but it's okay.
Alligated.
It is. It is.
The first time
I knew what he meant.
It's not Urban Dictionary anymore, it's Drew's
You knew what he
Dictionary.
meant as well. I was gonna let it slide. That's why I was gonna let it slide.
First time you said it, I thought you said alligator. I was like, what does reptiles have to do with this?
Okay. Did I really say alligate? I didn't even know. All right.
Someone says, remember when Nick called you and you had no clue you were on air? Called me? I think I remember. What was the circumstance around that? Our old producer.
Were you
Nick,
also undergoing like a?
No,
Was it
the only time I've ever been, put out for surgery was back when I was in high school. I broke my finger. I had to have pins put in my pinky. It was ridiculous. One of the most embarrassing things. I caught a football and broke my pinky. Okay, so
That happens, man.
yeah.
Did you hang on?
Yes.
You caught it. Let's go.
But
it probably hurt really bad. I bet.
Not initially. It's one of those where it doesn't hurt until you look down and you're like, oh, the pinky's way the hell out of
yeah.
So I have pins. That's the only time I've been put out for surgery.
Oh, that's fine. I spent 2 days in the hospital because I shot myself with a pressure washer.
Wait, what? On your foot or on your chest or what?
Middle of my hand.
So you just said, let me check this water pressure, and
hold
you
on.
used the pressure washer?
Not what happened. It was in high school. I was working at the Sonic Drive-In in my tiny little town of 2,500 people, and they would use the pressure washer inside the store to like clean the tile inside of the Sonic, and then we would take it at night and we would clean out. We'd clean the concrete on the individual stalls. And it had the front of the nozzle had different settings on it. So you could put it on sort of like a mister jet setting, depending on if you were using it inside or outside. So I was one night going out, cleaning the outside stalls, and I threw, you got to throw this big 10-gallon bucket of different chemicals that you just poured in here to make this solution. You throw that out there, you scrub it with this big, giant sort of shot brush, and then you spray it with the power washer. So I hit the I hit the trigger, and it's doing like the little mist setting thing. It's not nearly strong enough to try to clean off grease or oil off of concrete. So I put the trigger under my right arm, and I was leaned towards the front of it, trying to change the setting on the front of the nozzle, and it slipped, and I tried to catch it. I hit the trigger with my elbow and shot myself directly into the hand with it.
Are we doing stupid stories right now? Because I got one that might top that one.
So okay, this happens. What's the immediate reaction, and what did they do at the hospital?
So immediately,
was skin just completely gone from your?
No. So I mean, literally, it was just like a small puncture wound in the middle of my. You can sort of see it. I have like this little scar on the base of my middle finger. It was just that. It was just this little puncture on the base of my middle finger. But my middle finger was probably
you're flipping us all off.
It was probably 3 to 4 times the size of what it should normally be, because all that water and air pressure, had pumped my middle finger to 3 or 4 times its normal size. So I walked back into the store and I go to my manager and I was like, something bad happened. So they call my parents and they drive me to the ER. I spent 2 days in the hospital. Because
2 days for that? Cody just had surgery and he went home right after.
Because the pressure, what a pressure washer does, why the water comes out so aggressively, is because they pump air into it. So when I shot my hand, not only did I pump water into my bloodstream, they were afraid that I had put air into my bloodstream. So like an air bubble, and if that reaches your heart and pops, it's an embolism. And it could kill you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is so much fun. I'm just here, for 2 days in the hospital because of a stupid pressure washer.
Than the story I was going to have. I thought mine was crazy.
What's yours, real quick?
So it's
a fan club Friday, by the way.
We're all talking about how we've been idiots before. So me, I don't know what exactly I was thinking, to be honest with you. So those blenders that you make shakes in, like you push a button and it spins.
Can you act it out? Can you explain that for us?
So
on video?
You have a cup. Yeah. Hang on a second. Let me put myself on camera so people can properly see this. Invigorating content. So you have a cup, not like this, it's a water bottle, but you have a blender. And you put the...
Like you do it for making coffee and stuff.
Spin. Yeah. You put the shake spin into the shake. I thought to myself, I wonder if I would feel this, like if I put my finger on, not in the middle of the blade where it would basically cut my finger off, but put it up against the top of the blade, what would happen? So I put my finger up against it, pushed the button, and I cut my finger open. Still a scar to this day, will forever be one, on my index finger. I'm lucky I didn't lose my finger.
That would have been
similar
very
situation.
unfortunate.
Similar situation to you, Logan. It happened, and I don't really realize until I look down, and there is my finger is bleeding profusely. And I was like, we have a problem. My mom turned around. Oh, my gosh. And then, that was...
So we've all had stupid hand injuries, finger injuries? Okay.
Yeah, fun stuff.
What's the dumbest one of the bunch? Text line. You can text in.
It has to be mine.
586-7965. Drew with the blender, me catching a football and breaking my pinky, and Logan using a pressure washer on his finger that prompted him to go to the hospital for 2 days.
Pretty unbelievable stories, actually.
Hand injuries, man. They're something else. They're fickle.
Text line's being mean to you right now, Drew. Being very mean.
Oh, Drew should tell the story of how I became a Bengals fan.
I've already told this story.
That's his idiot story.
It's tough, dude. It's tough.
I already have told that story.
Oh, my goodness. All right, let's get back to the Chiefs and Broncos for a bit here. It is a Fan Club Friday presented by Jay Rieger. Again, the cocktail of the day is the Stone Fence cocktail, using some of the rye whiskey from Rieger. Mix in a little apple cider. If you're wanting the exact recipe, of course, you can go to Rieger's website, but it's 1.5 ounce apple cider, 1.5 ounce ginger ale. It does say to garnish it with apple slices. We did not do the apple slice garnish. I can tell you that. But appreciate Jay Rieger and co. So Chiefs, Broncos, we've talked about the divisional implications. We've talked about our biggest concerns, confidence level as well. Do you think this weekend of the slate of games, you have the Chargers are also playing the Jags? I want to talk about that more because if you're a Chiefs fan, who are you rooting for in that game? Number one, the Chiefs have to handle their own business. I get that. But you've got a Chargers team take on a Jags team. A Jags team is coming off a pretty embarrassing loss to Davis Mills. I mean, they had the lead, full control. They blew that game late to Houston. The Chargers are a team that's dealing with injuries all over the place. They're slight favorites against Jacksonville. Given the standings in the division, you would say you would want the Chargers to lose, but I don't think that's the case. I actually think you want the Chargers to beat the Jags. That way, if the Chiefs were to lose, you don't want the Jags having some wiggle room in the standings. If the Jags lose again, and even if you lose, you're still right there with them for that final spot in the postseason.
I'm with you 100%. Even a Chargers win does nothing for the Chiefs really in either sense of the word. In terms of the division race, the Chargers lose this game against Jacksonville. They fall to 7-4. The Chiefs are going to be 6-4. So you're still trailing the Chargers, but you have another game against them. So you're going to have a chance to kind of get rid of that head-to-head moniker that surrounds the Week 1 game. The Chargers could win this game and you could still catch them in the division. And that's evidenced by the odds that you were talking about. Chiefs win or a Broncos win. Either way, the Chargers don't have great odds right now.
I agree.
And so if the Chargers were to win this game, that helps the Chiefs, I believe, a little bit more than a Jacksonville win does, because if you win, Jags lose, you're right back in the playoff picture again. The downside, and you have to have that happen because you can't end up in a tiebreaker situation with the Jags because they own the head-to-head over you.
Right.
You have no opportunity to rid yourself of that compared to what you've got with the Chargers. I would say a Chargers win benefits the Chiefs more than a Jags win does.
Yeah, I'm with you. Divisionally, if the Chiefs just handle their business, then they're not worried about the Chargers. Their head-to-head stuff against the Broncos moving forward is a much bigger deal, including, of course, Sunday's game. That's to me the more important factor here. I think in general you would normally always say your divisional opponent to lose, but no, I think you want to try to bury the Jags as much as possible, have them keep losing. I don't know what else the Jags have on their schedule at the same time. So the Jags have the Chargers, Then Jacksonville goes to Arizona, very winnable game. Titans, very winnable game. Then they have the Colts, Jets, winnable game. Broncos, tough game. Colts again, tough game. Winnable game. Titans. So there are still, I think, at least 2 more losses coming for the Jags, which is why in a playoff circumstance, as much as Monday there could be panic if the Chiefs lose to the Broncos, I think the Jags could lose both games to the Colts. Let's say they split. Let's just be fair. Let's say they split their games against the Colts. Then are they going to win out against Chargers, Cardinals, Titans twice, Jets, and Broncos? Like, I think they could probably lose both to the Colts, but the Broncos game is very losable for them. They'll probably sweep the Titans. Cardinals is a toss-up game. Jets is probably a win. Like, I think the Chargers have at least 2 more, if not 3 more losses coming their way. The question is, the Chiefs cannot have more than that, right? They have to have 1 win more than the Jags the rest of the way if we're just talking playoff scenario.
No question. I agree. I think that they'll lose both games to the Colts. I have been of the opinion that I have no belief in this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Even after they beat Kansas City, I still thought this team doesn't appear like it's a real contending sort of a football team. And right after they get that marquee win against the Chiefs, well, what do? They rattle off 3 losses in 4 weeks. So right. I still, and they haven't been great losses either. I mean, you got killed by the Rams. You lost on the road to the Texans, in which you gave up 36 points against a team that had really had no offensive success, and Davis Mills was at quarterback. So I think that this Jaguars team probably loses at least 3 more games, which means if you're the Chiefs and that does end up coming to fruition, that puts Jacksonville
seven losses.
10-7, which means you more likely than not
need to get to 11.
Have to get to 11.
Yeah. By the way, I think there's still a great chance of that happening no matter what happens on Sunday. That's why if the Chiefs win Sunday, then I think a lot of the worry goes away entirely. Right. But even if they were to lose and both the Jags and Chiefs, let's say, are 5-5, I still think you're in a decent spot to make sure you at least make the postseason, despite some of the panic that would ultimately set in. All right, up next, guys, we'll get to what's trending here on a Fan Club Friday. Then we'll let you guys hear what Nick Ferguson had to say, former Broncos safety, and then, of course, our official game predictions before we get out of here, right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Tomorrow, you'll hear Kansas State football instead of the John Clay Wolf Show. So this weekend, you can catch it on 98.9 The Rock and always on the John Clay Wolf YouTube channel, sponsored by Give Me the VIN, America's best car buyer.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. On November 17th, sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses, plus an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day, with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM reward points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. Pre-registration is coming soon to Missouri on November 17th. BetMGM, make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gambling Commission register for a Missouri online sports wagering account 1117. BetMGM's insurance of welcome offer is conditional on full license.
You know, there's millions of people without the health insurance they need. I get it. You feel like it's too pricey, a headache to deal with. You deserve something better. And better health. We're on a mission to get everyone high-quality, affordable health insurance. You have health insurance needs. We have plans with low out-of-pocket premiums, with in-network preventive care at no cost to you, and a network of local doctors and hospitals. So if you're still shopping for health insurance, go to ambetterhealth.com/enroll to get your free, no-obligation quote. That's ambetterhealth.com/enroll. For coverage to start January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. Find the plan that's right for you right now. ambetterhealth.com/enroll. Ambetter Health, on a mission for better. Ambetter Health is the brand name for health insurance products underwritten by subsidiaries of Centene Corporation. Go to ambetterhealth.com to see offerings in your state. This is a solicitation for insurance.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
You think you understand how this business works, but you don't.
Landman, TV's biggest phenomenon, returns to Paramount Plus. From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Yellowstone, starring Billy Bob Thornton.
You have to know the rules of the game and bend them, and you really have to know them to break them.
Demi Moore.
I want success. Get it for me.
Andy Garcia, Ali Larder, and Sam Elliott.
You don't even know the game you're playing, do you?
Landman, new season, streaming November 16th, only on Paramount Plus.
You
like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. But wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
It's time for Black Friday, Dell Technologies' biggest sale of the year. Enjoy huge savings on select PCs like the Dell 16 Plus, featuring Intel Core Ultra processors. And with built-in advanced features, it's the PC that helps you do more, faster. Plus, earn Dell rewards and enjoy many other benefits, like free shipping, price match guarantee, and expert support. They also have huge deals on accessories that pair perfectly with your Dell PC and make perfect gifts for everyone on your list. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Paid for by term provider. Premiums will vary. Plans depend on age, location, and other factors. Visit BigBlue.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1225. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1225 or biglou.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on a Fan Club Friday, I do want to pass along a few updates on what Andy Reid had to say. Then, Drew, we'll get to a quick what's trending here in a second as well. Andy Reid did speak to the media, on Friday. It's Fast Friday, so it's like a 60-second presser. Easier for us just to pass along the info. Andy Reid did say there is, quote, a chance Josh Simmons will start on Sunday against the Broncos. He went on to elaborate a little more, said he does want to watch some film, talk with Andy Heck, the offensive line coach, before making a final decision. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. That tells me he's starting left tackle on Sunday.
I would lean towards it.
He's fully practiced all week. Andy has said, yeah, there's a chance. Going to watch some film. Look, competitive-wise, I don't know how much advantage you get, but I didn't think he would flat out say. The fact that he didn't rule him out, though, that's the thing.
Right.
Saying there's a chance, I actually think Josh Simmons is starting on Sunday. That's how I took it, at least. Also, for those that were maybe a little worried about seeing Xavier Worthy pop up on the injury report yesterday, Andy said, hey, it's just a tweaked ankle. He's good. He did everything at practice today. He's going to play on Sunday. Good to go. And as expected, Isaiah Pacheco did not practice again today. He's obviously out, much like J.K. Dobbins is out for the Broncos, even though neither one is officially out. We all are smart enough to recognize you don't practice all week. You're not playing in a football game. So the Chiefs are going to enter healthy with the exception of Isaiah Pacheco. Other than that, full go. And maybe their starting left tackle from week one is good to go as well. That's a great sign for Sunday's game.
No question. And especially from a depth standpoint, because, while they've had the bye week to sort of get themselves right a little bit, guys like Trey Smith and Wanye Morris and Jawan Taylor and Jalen Moore, now that you've got Josh Simmons back and those guys presumably a little healthier after 2 weeks, or a week off, plus, the preparation for this week, you get a chance where if somebody does re-aggravate an injury, if Jawan Taylor does re-aggravate that issue that he had and he has to leave for a little bit, then if you've got Josh Simmons in at left tackle, you can slide Jalen Moore to right tackle or whatever the situation calls for.
Jawan Taylor is going to start at right tackle on Sunday.
100%. I'm saying if an injury occurs during the game, you are not having to hope to God that Wanye Morris can be solid for a half a football or even a quarter, which to this point hasn't necessarily proven itself to be plausible.
You're saying you're back to having the depth on the offensive
exactly.
line. Yeah, I'm 100% with you
if an injury does occur during the game.
Yeah, I feel good about it. And yeah, I do think Josh Simmons is going to play based on what we now know. And to me, Jawan Taylor, we knew earlier in the week he was good to go. So that's the latest for those of you who were texting and wondering on the Simmons front and the injury front. Other than Isaiah Pacheco, everybody appears to be good to go on Sunday. Still a coaching decision for Andy with Simmons, but we all just saw the quote and read you the quote of what he had to say in that regard. All right, let's get to a quick What's Trending.
What's Trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit TellyTire.com today.
We're obviously in the middle of a Fan Club Friday, thanks to Jay Rieger & Co. Had to pivot a little bit. We'll hope to have Dana Wright on in a future Fan Club Friday. But I already mentioned the injury updates. Elsewhere on What's Trending, AL/NL MVP were announced last night. Aaron Judge wins in back-to-back years over Cal Raleigh this go-around. And Shohei Ohtani continues his dominance. And no surprise, he won the MVP again. He's won 3 in a row, 4 of the last 5. And now I think officially the award season is over, maybe, for baseball.
Yeah, I believe so. Manager of the Year was earlier this week. Cy Young, Rookies of the Year. Gold Gloves have already been announced. They announced the All-MLB team. Bobby Witt
I think
was
it's
first
finally
team.
over.
I did see that Carlos Estevez is a finalist for
Reliever of the Year? Maybe that you got to still announce that?
So that might be the only thing left.
So they announced that after MVP? It just makes their whole formula makes no sense for how long they wait to announce this stuff.
Nope. Make it a one-night effect.
Shouldn't the MVP be the last award you announce if you're going to space it out the way they do?
Or maybe it was Closer of the Year. Maybe not Reliever of the Year, because I thought Edwin Diaz and Aroldis Chapman had won that. But there was some sort of mark on Estevez getting some sort of like closer, whatever the situation called for. It was probably not the MLB award. Maybe it was some other publication.
Mariano Rivera Reliever of the Year award.
That's what I was thinking of.
He is a finalist for that. All right.
Interestingly enough. We talked about the injury report for the Broncos and for the Chiefs today, but what else is trending? This one could matter to some people across the National Football League. The Buffalo Bills have said that they will not have their top tight end in Dalton Kincaid coming up Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He hurt his right hamstring last week against the Dolphins. There was some hope that Buffalo would have him ready to go in this game. He will not play. So arguably, their best option in the receiving game for Josh Allen, not available as they try to bounce back from that bad loss against Miami against a solid Tampa Bay team.
Locally, college basketball, K-State got the win by 3 over Cal last night. KU hosts Princeton tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Darren Peterson will not play tomorrow. According to Coach Self, hamstring still bothering him. That's 2 games in a row that he has missed. Local college football, K-State at Oklahoma State, 11 a.m. kickoff right here on 96.5 The Fan. KU on a bye. The Missouri Tigers have an evening showdown with Mississippi State at 6:45. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon, Logan Weber with you. We might try to call Cody here in about 12 minutes or so to get his prediction and also just see, how the recovery is going. He doesn't know we're going to call him, so this should be interesting. We'll do that live on the air. But earlier today, Nick Ferguson, former Broncos safety, does radio in Denver, joined us. We started our conversation asking Nick just about how massive this game is for Kansas City and kind of where it stacks up.
Typically when we come on, it's always, the Broncos are somewhat the underdog in this. And I know when you look around the league, everyone's giving the Chiefs a fighting chance, but this is kind of the first time that we've ever had this conversation. And the Chiefs find themselves on the precipice of not winning the AFC West. That's very interesting.
No doubt. It's presented a different way to kind of discuss this game. Now, what's the feeling in Denver? Because I think from our side, we look at the Broncos, and it's kind of one of those games where, all right, kind of prove it to me that you're ready to end this run, that Bo Nix is going to step up in a spot like this. Otherwise, if the Broncos lose, it's kind of, all right, same old story. At least that's how I view it.
Well, yeah, that is true, but the thing that kind of tips the scales in the Broncos' favor isn't the offense. I know everyone loves in this league to talk about the offense and offensive coordinator, but it's about the Broncos' defense. The Broncos are 8-2, not because of their offense, but in spite of their offense, and it's because of their defense. And I'll let you in on a little secret that I've been talking about this Broncos team and people love to give, defensive groups names, but I've coined the Broncos defense MacGyver. And the reason I call them MacGyver, if you remember the 90s show on CBS, MacGyver was just like Batman without a mask, but he had all these fancy toys like a paper clip and a piece of gum, and he could make a rocket launcher. And the biggest thing about MacGyver was he comes through when you need him the most, and that's exactly what Vance Joseph defense has done all season long. So the Broncos and his fan base, man, they are so excited about what they can do on Sunday against the Chiefs, but it's more or less about the defense opposed to the offense.
Nick, I kind of like that comparison, MacGyver, especially when it comes to that Broncos defensive line, because, they've got 5 guys on this team with at least 3.5 sacks and 9 with at least 2. It seems like this defense, Vance Joseph's unit, can come at you from anywhere. What makes this team so special when it comes to getting to the quarterback, regardless of seemingly who is out there at any time?
Well, he talked about it yesterday, and it's unselfish play. And I told him myself, I say, seldom do you see guys willing to sacrifice sacks, which is sacks are incentives, and that's money that you're taking out of your pocket to give to your buddies, but it's a lot of unselfish play, and they want to see their fellow defensive player celebrate and have success. And I know that's what we think all players want to do, and I'm telling you as a former player, no, it's not. So to see the defense playing in this way where they want to root for the guy next to him, truly mean that is why that we're seeing the defense play the way that they're playing. And also with the additions of Talanoa Hufanga coming over from San Francisco. That guy is by far one of the better safeties that the Broncos have had around here in a while, because he is what I consider to be an eraser. When you bring him down in the box, he can blitz from anywhere. He's great at all open field tackles, and he's a physical safety. So there's so many guys that are really buying into what Vance Joseph has sold.
We're talking to former Broncos safety Nick Ferguson here on 96.5 The Fan. Is there any vulnerability defensively? Where can the Chiefs have some success, though, perhaps?
Well, you know what? It's shots down the field, because we've seen this season Riley Moss has been attacked on the corners. Obviously, there's no PS2 in this game. And, I like Riley Moss. Sometimes he gets himself in trouble at the line of scrimmage, but we've all been in that situation as far as with our footwork. But it is tacking them down the field. Like I said, no PS2. You have Riley Moss and Chris Abrams drained. So there's going to be some opportunities. And, I don't have to tell you, that track team that you guys have with the receivers that you have, it makes it really difficult for anyone to really defend. But that is, if there's one place to attack the Broncos defense, it is on the corners.
So looking at the other side of the football, Nick, the Broncos defense deserves all the credit in the world. This Broncos offense, though, has at times looked fantastic, and other times it's been a little bit slower. The last couple of weeks are on that end of the spectrum. With Bo Nix at the quarterback position, struggling the last few weeks. J.K. Dobbins, who knows what his availability is going to be on Sunday. What is it going to take for the Broncos to have success against the Chiefs defense, and vice versa, in your view?
Well, it's consistency, and it always goes back to starting fast. And for me, starting fast is setting up the run, really leaning on the run. And I know the Chiefs have done a good job this season, kind of stalling teams when teams try to run the ball. But you need balance, man. You have to at least make the Spagnuolo defense think that you're going to run the ball at least 20 times a game, because if you don't, now you give Spags an opportunity to blitz, move Chris Jones around, create the matchups you want to, and now put a lot of pressure on Bo Nix. And we've seen pressure be a problem for the Broncos starting at the beginning of the season with the Titans. So Sean Payton's going to have to come out with one hell of a game plan, but that means the offense is going to have to execute and not have drive killers as they've had over the season with penalties.
Is there a player offensively that maybe those of us in Kansas City are just completely dismissing, not talking about? We know about Dobbins. I think we know about Cortland Sutton. But is there somebody else that you think could be, I guess, a little bit of an X factor here for the Broncos on Sunday?
Well, there are two guys, Troy Franklin, who he was really criticized last year, but he seemed to be involved more in this offense. And I think he has more yards right now than Cortland Sutton and then Pat Bryant. The team drafted him, and he is a physical guy who loves to block at the point of attack. He's another guy who is developing as a possession receiver for the team. Now, he doesn't have a lot of gaudy numbers, but he is one of those guys, young guys, who understands the game, and he kind of fights and strains to get open. So those two young receivers are two guys, in my opinion, that no one's really talking about and looking at in that particular way that could be major factors in the game on Sunday.
I think one of the more unsung parts of this 8-2 start for the Denver Broncos has actually been this offensive line. It is graded out as one of the best units in football, no matter what metrics it is that you're looking at. And despite that, there's not really like a marquee name, I guess you could say, along this Broncos offensive line. So what is it about those five guys up front that allows them to be so successful as a unit when none of them are massive individuals when you talk about the best offensive linemen in the NFL?
Well, that's just it. It's being great as a unit. And you guys know this. Those offensive linemen, they work well when they've had time to work with one another and work alongside one another. That's how you build that chemistry and continuity. And, I mean, Ben Powers is the only guy that's been injured. Other than that, I mean, these guys have been together for a period of time, and that builds a lot of confidence. Now, here's something else that actually assists with the offensive line not giving up a lot of sacks, but this is also at the same time, you can praise the offensive line, but you criticize the quarterback at the same time. And what I mean by that is Bo Nix has come under a lot of fire locally and nationally because they say, well, he loves to bail and retreat on plays and get outside the pocket. It is his mobility and athleticism that has allowed him to do that, but that also has kept down the sack total by the offensive line. So it's like kind of pick your poison. You can say and praise the offensive line for not really giving up sacks, but you also have to tip your cap to Bo Nix because his ability to scramble and get on the perimeter has also helped out with that stat too as well.
A couple more minutes with Nick Ferguson, former Denver Broncos safety, joining us here on 96.5 The Fan. How are people talking about the Chiefs in Denver? Like, do you guys view the Chiefs as extremely vulnerable? Like, this is the year to get them? What's the feeling, I guess, even confidence heading into Sunday?
Well, there's two schools of thought. It's like, okay, well, this is an opportunity for the Broncos to finally stomp out their division rival and submit themselves as maybe AFC West title contenders. But also, from my standpoint, it's a little scary. And the reason I say that's a little scary is because Kansas City over the years have found different ways to win. Before it was with their offense. Now it's with their defense. We all know the record of Andy Reid coming off the bye, but now you find the Chiefs in a situation, from my estimation, that we've never seen them in. They've lost to the Jags, the Chargers, and the Bills, and they're on the verge of not being in that conversation as far as winning the AFC West. And for me, like a possum backed in the corner, they're dangerous right now. So we can see almost anything on Sunday because this team is in desperation mode, and we've never seen them in that place before. But for the other Broncos fans, they were like, okay, well, we're going to strike while the iron is hot. This is the prime time to knock the Chiefs over. And I'm like, man, pump your brakes. This still is a dangerous team because right now they're in desperation mode. If the Broncos win Sunday, if that happens, I think the Broncos are winning this division. Is that also kind of the thought? You mentioned it's a little scary, but if the Broncos win, I think they are better than the Chargers. They would at that point have proved that they're better than Kansas City. Do you think the Broncos, is it that simple? They win on Sunday, you feel, and people there feel they win this division? No, it's not that simple because it comes down to this for me, guys. How is it that the Broncos win? We just talked about the Broncos' struggles, and they've struggled, and we like week 10, week 11. And we haven't really seen any daylight at the end of the tunnel. So if you tell me on Sunday the Broncos win, which I'm predicting the Broncos are going to win, but the Broncos do it because now their offense has finally come alive, now we can really have that conversation. But if it's one of those games where it's kind of a defensive type of game and it's who can kick the game-winning field goal, is it going to be your kicker or is it going to be Will Lutz? Then to me, it's still up in the air as far as where this team can actually get if they're trying to lean on their offense. So that was Nick Ferguson, former Broncos safety. He does radio in Denver over on KOA.
giving us their perspective. At the end there, like I do think no matter how they win, the division's over if the Broncos win. But I get what he's saying. Like for being a contender, being a Super Bowl contender, none of us in this room think the Broncos are a Super Bowl contender. But if they go out and win in impressive fashion and Bo Nix and the offense is rolling to go with the defense, I think everybody's tune will change on them a little bit. So I think that's probably fair on their end. For the Chiefs end, I don't care how ugly it is. Just find a way to win the damn game.
Just got to get the W.
I don't care what the score is. It can be 16-13, and it's ugly, and everybody's like, man, this offense didn't do a damn thing, but the Chiefs found a way to. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. You would like to go win in dominating fashion, 34-21, and everything's sure. Just got to win. Got to avoid dropping to 500. I think it's that simple. All right, let's get to some game predictions. We're going to also try to call up Cody here as well. Game predictions on Cody and Gold. We do these each and every Friday on the show. They're brought to you by Bet365. The gateway to big wins is coming soon to Missouri with Bet365. Let's try calling him. He's been out since Tuesday. You had hernia surgery.
He's on the line right now.
Okay, we texted him. He texted us on Wednesday morning. Surgery went well. I'll save the audio cuts for him when he comes back Wednesday. I must say, though, Cody, Dane and Hughes, Jay Binkley, and others been flat out calling you soft, but I hope you're doing well.
So, that tracks. I'm not even there to defend myself, calling me soft for hernia surgery.
How you feeling? Did it go well?
Yeah. It went well by normal surgery standards. They did say I came out of the anesthesia a bit crazy.
Were you trying to, were you singing? What was going on?
No, man, I was like, I don't know. I guess I was just trying to get out of the bed. I was just like, this is it. I got to get out of here. I was trying to escape the hospital. I had it, I guess, by the time. You know how it is, man. You come out of anesthesia, crazy stuff happens.
Are you on the good stuff still, or how's the pain?
Pain's okay. Still, I don't know. I got a couple of the good stuff, probably pills left. Spreading them out, saving them for the weekend, maybe. And then trying to make sure I got enough to make it through next week.
All right.
But yeah, not bad.
I'll let you, when you come back Wednesday, we'll obviously talk more about everything. Glad to hear everything went well, but I got to get a game prediction. The people want a game prediction for the Chiefs and Broncos Sunday.
Admittedly, I've been out of the game a little bit.
Yeah.
In the sense that, I saw some of the injuries, and you're like, wait, is Simmons, and where is everybody? But in the end, it's like, I don't know. I just don't think the Chiefs have fallen off a planet yet, and bye week, Andy Reid against Bo Nix, I still think they'll win. Not by a lot or anything, and I think it'll be ugly, but I had the Chiefs 24-21 was the final.
Oh, wow.
You guys anywhere close to that range?
That's the identical score I gave to Kramer today for our social media video. No, I like it. All right, man. I appreciate it. And have a good weekend. Continue to heal up, and we'll check in. Obviously, see you on Wednesday.
Will do. See you, fellas.
There you go. That's Cody Tapp. All is well. He sounded hoarse, didn't he? He sounded a little like his voice. Did he just wake up? Or is that just the meds? Is that just the meds? His voice sounded a little weak. Weak.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Someone's asking him to cough on air. No, that's mean. That's mean.
Jeez.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get into I'll let him on Wednesday when he's back, when he's really feeling good, give some of the detail. I wasn't going to ask him about the stuff we mentioned before the surgery, which was going to the bathroom and everything. But I'll let him explain that. But okay, his score prediction. It's funny. I have the same score. Seriously, we did a video this morning for Kramer. It'll be out on socials this weekend. I think the Chiefs win 24-21 as well. I talked about it throughout the show. I think in this spot, it's essentially a playoff game. While the team may not say that out loud, I think they treat it that way. They'll have the same intensity of a game like that. I think they come out quick. I think they control this game. I think it's close. Like when I say control, I don't think they're up 2 touchdowns, but I mean, I think they're in front the whole game. Like I think the Broncos are playing from behind throughout the whole game. Mahomes elevates in these spots. Travis Kelce elevates in these spots. I think there will be some adjustments from self-scouting that Kansas City has as well. We all know the bye week tendencies for Kansas City. So I think the Chiefs get to 6-4, get the 24-21 win, and on Monday, everybody's calmed down a little bit, and we're talking about the Chiefs getting ready to welcome in the Colts.
I don't mind that. I'm sort of in the same area in terms of the scoring of this game. I've got Chiefs 27-17.
10-point win.
I do. I don't think that the Broncos offense is going to have any real semblance of success. I look at the Chiefs scoring 27 points like there might be a turnover somewhere that gives the Chiefs short field and they're able to capitalize on it. But I don't trust Bo Nix being able to lead this offense by himself. Again, it's sort of a show me attitude with RJ Harvey. Like, okay, Dobbins isn't going to go. The reins are yours. What can you do with it? And we've seen across the league this year that these rookie running backs have had to find it as the season has gone on. Even guys that started week one, Ashton Genty still continues to struggle. Amarion Hampton was finally starting to figure it out before his injury. I just don't think that they can give the ball to RJ Harvey on Sunday and him rush the ball 20 times for 100 yards. So Bo Nix is going to have to move the ball for this Broncos offense. I'm not entirely sure he can do that. Even when he's not pressured, he's one of the least accurate quarterbacks in football so far this season. Against that Chiefs secondary, I anticipate a turnover or two that really helps sway the tide for Kansas City. I think a 27-17 win is a solid one, and it kind of makes a statement, a 2-score victory over the team that leads your division, and you're right back in the middle of Super Bowl conversations that you should already be in.
It feels like this game's just going to be kind of ugly. Like it's going to be one of those games where Denver's defense is able to make some plays. Bo Nix is consistently inconsistent. I feel like the Chiefs are going to be able to take advantage of him as well. It'll be like a 20-ish to 17 type of game is the score that I have, but I think Denver wins the game on Sunday. I think that they make a winning play, whether it's an interception, a fourth down stand, dare I say a missed field goal, whatever the case is. It feels like the Chiefs are going to maybe have a shot to go and win it or tie it, and they won't be able to get it done. It feels like that's going to be the sort of game that it is. But it's not going to be a pretty game, I guess, by any stretch.
Those are